Hi everyone, it goes without saying this video took a long time to record, a lot longer than I thought it would, so if you appreciate the effort I went through to make this, please go ahead and leave a like. It's also worth noting that some of the abilities in this video could have already changed. Passive abilities are something that is constantly being worked on by the PokeRogue team, so if an ability is different in this video than what it actually is in the game, just understand that they are constantly changing. My cat says hi. Regardless though, I hope this can serve as maybe a good resource. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you learned what the ability Poison Puppeteer does, because you've not been playing Pokemon for a few years now and you've got no idea what a Petrorun is. There's going to be timestamps in the description that you can click on. Thank you for watching. Now listen to me ramble for a few hours. Hi everyone, today I'm going to pick up the daunting task of ranking all of the Pokemon and PokeRogue's passive abilities, which is every Pokemon, by the way. For the uninformed, passive abilities are these funny little abilities right here that you can get on your Pokemon. Let me come down to Ghastly, for example. As you can see down here in the bottom left, Ghastly has its ability Levitate, as well as a passive ability of Perish Body. You can unlock these passive abilities by just clicking on the Pokemon you want and then clicking on Use Candies. And depending on how many candies you've got, which you obtain these candies by catching and hatching Pokemon, you can then spend them to unlock passive abilities. And the passive ability acts as a secondary ability on top of your original ability. So this Ghastly would have both Levitate and Perish Body. So today I'm going to be doing my best to rank all of them. We have our categories over here: very overpowered, always useful, useful but situational, it's okay but the Pokemon still sucks, and not worth the investment. I have the PokeRogue wiki opened up at the side so I can go through these easy. I think it's also worth noting that all of this is subject to change. Sam could at any point change any of these passive abilities if he wanted to. He could also change the effects of it. Like, this is just based on the current meta of the game. For example, I'm going to try and take in like final bosses and stuff like that to account, which if Sam adds more final bosses, then this is a little bit out of date. So let's start with our good old pal Bulbasaur here. Bulbasaur has solar power, and naturally Bulbasaur's hidden ability is Chlorophyll. I think this belongs in useful but situational. Just for reference, I'm only going to be putting the base Pokemon in the tier list because the passive ability remains the same throughout the whole line. There's no need to clutter the tier list. But as for Bulbasaur, Chlorophyll hidden ability, solar power passive ability, definitely some crazy potential. But of course it is situational. I think you need a sun setter, which, I mean, with passive abilities, I imagine setting the sun would be made easier because I think there's a few Pokemon that have passive abilities of drought. But yeah, it's an effect you're not always gonna get use out of. So I would say it's useful but situational. Charmander's passive ability is Intimidate, which is always useful. Even if you're coming in on a Stealth Rocks, at least you're going to be dropping the opponent's physical attack. Squirtle's passive ability is Dauntless Shield. This is where the starter Pokemon are not made equally. Dauntless Shield, for anyone that doesn't know, is typically Zamazenta's signature ability, which when it comes in on battle, it raises its physical defense by 1. And considering the fact that Squirtle gets access to Body Press as a egg move, I'm going to say that Dauntless Shield is always useful. I'm like debating on it being like very OP. It's hard to say. I could always be wrong about these two. These, of course, again, are just my opinion. And we're coming at it from the PokeRogue perspective. I'm not coming at it from a battling, like a competitive battling perspective. I mean, Dauntless Shield, Blastoise. It's just a guaranteed defense buff. I don't know which version of Dauntless Shield it is. I might actually just check PokeRogue really fast. Considering the fact that this Pokemon gets a Mega Evolution and a Gigantamax form, I think it is very OP. Even if you only get one defense buff per battle, and if you switch out, you don't get it again, I still think it's very OP because all you need is like to be set up really well just to like start sweeping. Like it gives you a head start. Next up is Caterpie, which has Magician in this game. Magician is actually really good in this game because Magician in PokeRogue, Magician allows you to constantly steal items from the opponent. Downside is you have to be hit by a move, and I mean, Caterpie isn't the bulkiest, but Butterfree does have a Gmax form, and Gmax forms in this game, the stats are kind of distributed like Mega Evolutions, but they're just a bit more focused on HP. I will say it is always useful, but I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it's still a Butterfree. Maybe we change this to it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak if Gmax Butterfree sucks. I'm looking at the wiki now, and Gmax Butterfree's base stat total is 495, which isn't awful. It's got 120 special attack, 75 speed. I want to say it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. I think that's where we're at with this one. Weedle's passive is Technician, which, I mean, First of all, I mean, yeah, Weedle. It's a Weedle, right? But Mega Beedrill is a thing. I'm going to say it's very overpowered just because, well, first of all, if we come here to PokeRogue and we start up a classic run, Weedle only costs 1 point to add to your party. This, of course, is a huge gamble though, because you are gambling on getting the Mega Bracelet and then the Beedrillite. It's not guaranteed, but for 1 point, and if you manage to lower it even more, it goes down to like 0.25. It's very cheap. And you already get an adaptability Mega Beedrill, which is an insane Pokemon. But on top of that, you get Technician, which, I mean, Technician Bug Bite. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it gets Bug Bite as an egg move. So if you have Bug Bite plus Technician, but that eats berries. And a lot of Pokemon in this game, mostly the enemy, have a shit ton of berries. So if you can eat those, then that's always a good thing. There's also Fell Stinger, which is, I mean, it'll be 75 power, but buffing Fell Stinger and then getting the attack buffs off of getting a KO, I think that's huge. You could run Technician Pin Missile if you wanted to. There's also Technician Thief, which Thief is very good in PokeRogue because, like I said, you can steal items from your opponent. Stealing items from your opponent is always a good thing. So yeah, I'm happy with my placement of very OP. You wouldn't end up running the traditional Weedle moveset, I would say, but I think it's got potential to be very good. Oh, there's also Barb Barrage. Weedle gets Barb Barrage as an egg move, which is typically Hisui and Quillfish's move, or just Quillfish's move. It's got 50% chance of poisoning, and if the target is poisoned, its power is doubled. So yeah, Technician Barb Barrage. Technician Bug Bite Barb Barrage Thief. There you go. Next up is Pidgey, which Pidgey, of course, gets a Mega Evolution. Pidgey passive is Gale Wings, of course. Off rip, I would say that is always useful. I mean, No Guard, Gale Wings, Hurricane from a Mega Pidgeot. If you're able to get the Mega Pidgeot, and also considering how cheap it is to get Pidgey on your team, I would say that's very OP. I mean, it has to be a Mega Pidgeot, but I mean, for example, if you're doing Endless, you're gonna get a Mega Pidgeot eventually, right? So I would say that Gale Wings is very OP. I feel like very OP is gonna be filled to the brim. Rattata gets Strong Jaw, which, I mean, Strong Jaw is just a great ability. It also gets Jaw Lock as a egg move and Poison Fang, so that also aids the jaw locking potential. This thing's basically just like a Hyper Fang machine. I do think though, I will put it in, it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. Gotta come all the way to Generation 7 to check out Alolan Rattata, which gets Cheek Pouch. I get Stuffed Cheeks, Batty Bad, Flame Wheel, and Recycle as egg moves. In terms of gameplay, I can't really speak too much on Cheek Pouch. I mean, I'm sure Alolan Rattata gets Thief and can maybe steal a bunch of berries, but it just seems really gimmicky to me. I would probably just say it's not worth the investment, just like off of Cheek Pouch. Alolan Raticate is not necessarily got a bulky type, nor is it a bulky Pokemon, so it's very gimmicky. I'll say it's not worth the investment. Spearow gets Moxie, which is just always useful. You can always get use out of Moxie. Looking at Fearow, it has 100 base speed and 90 attack. I mean, attack is the same as Scrafty's, and Scrafty is a very efficient Moxie user. It's faster than Scrafty. Its downside is that it's a normal flying type. It does get like Drill Run for coverage though. I think I'm happy with always useful. I think it does make the Pokemon significantly better. It also gets Sniper as a hidden ability, so maybe you can do like a Sniper Moxie crit set. It learns Dual Wing Beat as an egg move, which is nice because it allows it to get it, like hit moves that hit multiple times always have a higher crit chance. So yeah, if you have hidden ability Sniper plus Moxie, I think it's pretty useful. It's not like the most broken Pokemon ever, but definitely always useful. Ekans has Rough Skin. I mean, Arbok's not an awful Pokemon. Arbok naturally gets Intimidate and Shed Skin, which are two very good abilities. Scrafty also has those abilities. Arbok's stats are just kind of mid, and it's also a poison type. But Intimidate, Rough Skin, I think it's always useful. If you want to use an Arbok, you may as well get Rough Skin on it. It's only going to help it. So the way passive abilities in this game work, so for example, Pikachu, you can choose Pikachu from the PokeRogue menu right here, but its passive ability, you cannot unlock from Pikachu. You have to unlock it from Pichu. I don't actually know if doing this gives Pikachu the passive, or if you have to choose Pichu to use the passive, but either way, I don't know if you saw that, but Pikachu gets Transistor, which for anyone that doesn't know, that is Regieleki's ability which is very good. I might even go as far as to say that it's very OP. I think anything that buffs your stats like that is, especially as an electric types are really good. So I'll say it's very OP, especially also because you can have Gigantamax Pikachu, which I mean, I don't think is very good. And plus Pikachu doesn't get the, it doesn't get the light ball in this game yet. Yeah, Gmax Pikachu is not worth it. It's got lower speed and its special attack is it's just 100. It's yeah, Gmax Pikachu is not worth it. But you do have the options between a Alola Raichu and regular Raichu. So I mean, I'm gonna say it's always useful. Part of the reason I really wanted to make this video as well is because I was just curious what the passives were for every Pokemon, to be honest. Sandshrew gets Iron Barbs. This is a tricky one because Sandslash is just Sandslash gets Sand Rush, Iron Barbs. It's got good natural physical defense. I mean, it's always useful, right? But I think it would probably just be on the same tier as Ekans in that regard, that it's always useful. I think we need to make a row below. Always useful, but Pokemon is meh. I think these guys all fit into this category. Maybe actually we do significantly improves Pokemon. I would say Iron Barbs would, it would significantly improve Sandslash. He's already good at taking physical hits. You may as well get what you can from that. As for Alolan Sandshrew, it gets Ice Body. This is definitely one of those like situational moments. Ice Body, I believe, let me double check. Ice Body, it regains HP. It also gets Snow Cloak and Slush Rush. So it's just one of those, if you have a snow team, then it's useful, but it's situational. I think that's a fair placement. Nidoran Female gets Queenly Majesty, an ability that negates priority moves. I mean, Nidoqueen's already a pretty good Pokemon. It is situational because priority moves aren't everywhere. But it definitely considering double battles, I wouldn't say it. I mean, I guess it does significantly improve the Pokemon, but the Pokemon itself isn't bad to begin with. It's an ability I would definitely unlock. I think Queenly Majesty is pretty good actually in conjunction with Nidoqueen's moves already, and like Nidoqueen naturally gets Sheer Force, which is really good. I'll say it's always useful. I think it's always nice to have a Pokemon that can block priority. The other Nidoran gets Supreme Overlord. Oh my god. I think any Pokemon that gets Supreme Overlord, I think that's pretty OP. For anyone that's not aware, when the Pokemon enters a battle, its attack and special attack are slightly boosted for each of its allies in its party that have already been defeated. So yeah, I mean, if you're getting swept, this Nidoking can definitely... I think it can definitely help a reverse sweep. Nidoking's not the fastest Pokemon in the world. I feel like it's very OP though, because I mean on King Gambit, King Gambit gets like Sucker Punch though. I don't know if Nidoking gets any priority moves, which I think will definitely be the downfall. Oh, Nidoking does get Sucker Punch apparently as an egg move usually. I don't know if it gets Sucker Punch in this game though. Either way, I mean, I think very OP are always useful. It's really hard to... I wish I had like a tier in between them. I would say it would always be nice to have it with you. I'm not sure if it's OP. All right, Cleffa, same situation as Pikachu. Let's bring this thing up here. Cleffa gets Triage, which is usually Comfey's ability, and it basically makes healing moves priority. And for anyone that doesn't know, Cleffa gets Draining Kiss as an egg move. So it's priority Draining Kiss. It also will get priorities Moonlight. Let's see, does it get Heal Pulse? Oh, it gets Wish, so it would have priority Wish, I believe. I'm not sure if Healing Wish counts as a healing move. I would imagine it would, and if that is the case, priority Healing Wish, which I mean, if you're in a tough spot, I think that is very overpowered, honestly. So assuming, I mean, Healing Wish is literally called Healing Wish, I would assume that it would count. Wow. Vulpix's ability is Cursed Body. I mean, it already gets Drought as a hidden ability. I don't think it's really going to be getting hit much to proc Cursed Body. Like, I feel like it's pretty frail. I'm going to say it's useful but situational. Alolan Vulpix gets Ice Body, just like Alolan Sandshrew. Same situation, useful but situational. At least, actually, this thing gets Snow Warning. So it's just like a free leftovers. I would say that's always useful. If you're running Snow Warning, then yeah, that's always useful. Next up, we have Igglybuff. Same situation because it's a baby Pokemon. Igglybuff gets Serene Grace. Wigglytuff normally isn't that good of a Pokemon. It's kind of just got a lot of HP, but it does get stuff like Body Slam. It can learn a bunch of moves that have like secondary effects just because of the fact that it's a normal type. So I would say that Serene Grace would significantly improve the Pokemon. I would say that because Wigglytuff is already not that good. Zubat gets Wind Rider, which is it's a newer ability. It gives immunity to wind moves and causes the Pokemon's attack to increase by 1 stage when hit by 1. It's pretty situational. It can be useful though, but definitely situational. It's good on like Bramblegast because Bramblegast is weak to a lot of wind moves. It does boost the Pokemon's attacks that have Tailwind takes effect. Yeah, I think it can be useful, but it's definitely situational. And Crobat definitely doesn't suck, so I think that's the right placement. Oddish gets Lingering Aroma, which I believe is just like Mummy. Contact changes the attacker's ability to Lingering Aroma. Yeah, it's just like Mummy. Naturally, Vileplume gets Chlorophyll and Effect Spore. Blossom gets Chlorophyll and Healer. I mean, Vileplume's not very... I don't know if I would call it useful. I mean, I think it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. It's maybe a little harsh. Maybe it should be up like in a middle tier here. It can definitely be good, but it's just situational. But I don't know if I mean, I guess it can be useful. I think I'm fine with it being here. Paris gets Poison Heal. Paris also gets First Impression, Dark Claw, Crabhammer, and Shell Smash. I think they really tried hard to make Parasect good. I don't think it's working personally. It's a 30 speed with Shell Smash, and it's got like the most weaknesses in the game. Normally gets Effect Spore and Dry Skin, so they're giving it Poison Heal as well. It's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. Venonat gets Swarm. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think those abilities are very slept on. I think Swarm and stuff like that are definitely like Swarm, Blaze, Torrent, Overgrow. All those abilities are hella underrated. I mean, obviously it's situational, but Venomoth, I would go out on a whim and say the Venomoth kind of sucks. Unfortunately, Venomoth deserves better though. It's a very cool Pokemon. But yeah, Venomoth ultimately sucks, and despite it having a useful ability, yeah, it sucks. And there's Diglett with Sturdy. Actually, I think that's hella. I think that significantly improves Diglett, because I mean, Dugtrio's thing is that it usually has to run Focus Sash, and that kind of, I mean, Focus Sash isn't in this game. Focus Band is. But yeah, it's kind of like a free Focus Sash on your Dugtrio. I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon. I mean, you could go out and say that it is always useful, but I mean, Dugtrio is just a little underwhelming. Dugtrio is usually carried by a Raina Trap, but I mean, I guess the Raina Trap can be pretty good in this game. I think I'm happy with it being here, but it could be an always useful. As for Alolan Diglett, it gets Cute Charm. Dude, the Alolan forms kind of got shafted. Cute Charm? I mean, I might just say it's not worth the investment. I don't know if the steel typing on Alolan Diglett is worth the investment. Why couldn't he just have Sturdy as well, man? Like, Alolan Dugtrio literally has 10 less speed than Dugtrio, and where does that speed go? Does it go in its defense, really? Wow, really? They take 10 speed off of Dugtrio and put it in defense. Yeah, I don't think Q-Charm's worth the investment. Shocker, I know. Meowth is already a very good Pokemon. Normalize is its passive ability. Normalize pauses all moves that used by the Pokemon to become normal type, and attacking moves increase in power by 20%. Normal type Pokemon also gains stab from those moves. This is definitely a situational situation. I mean, I think for the most part, you're gonna be wanting to use like Fake Out, maybe even Payday, because Payday is pretty good in this game because you want to make as much money as you can. Like, the only ever coverage move I end up having on like Meowth is like Bite. And I mean, it is nice to have the coverage, but I think I usually am just going for the flinch chance. Technician, Normalize, Bite. Meowth also gets Make It Rain. Interesting. Yeah, you know what? I think that's always useful. I think it can be situational, but I truly don't think if you're running Meowth, you want coverage. I think you want Technician, like Fake Out and Technician, Bite and stuff like that. And I think having a Stab, Bite, it increases the power by 20%, but it doesn't increase the base stat. So I'm pretty sure it would just stack with Technician. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say that's always useful. Oh my god, I forgot Meowth has so many forms. Okay, Alolan Meowth. Also, by the way, I don't think Gmax Meowth is worth the investment either. Just for anyone that's maybe wondering, I wouldn't bother with Gmax Meowth. Same deal as Pikachu, it's only 75 base speed. Yeah, definitely not worth it. Alolan Meowth gets Unnerve, which usually you'd probably kind of, pass up on, but Unnerve in this game is very good. Looking at Alolan Persian, for example, Fur Coat and Technician. I mean, I would say it's always useful. Unnerve is always useful. I'm not sure if I would put it in very OP. I mean, maybe, because Unnerve makes it so that the opponent can't eat berries, which, I mean, later on that gets spammed a lot. So I don't think it's very overpowered, because I do think Persian, despite having Fur Coat and Technician, I don't think it's a very overpowered Pokemon, but I do think it's always useful. And then there is Galarian Meowth, which gets Super Luck. Super Luck heightens the critical hit ratio of moves. And if I just look at Berserker, I don't think it actually learns many moves that have high crit ratio. If it did, then I think Super Luck plus high crit ratio move would give it a 50% chance of critting. Usually Berserker gets Night Slash as an egg move, but it doesn't get a Night Slash as an egg move in this game, so I don't know if it learns it at all. Maybe by TM. I would love to see that in the future. I'd love to see a high crit Super Luck Berserker. That would be fun. But just looking at its level up movesets, the only like high crit move it gets is Slash. So just based on that, I think Berserker, it's useful, but definitely situational. But Berserker is also already a good Pokemon. Whether you invest in it or not, it's up to you. Me personally, I wouldn't invest in it right away, but I mean, maybe if it got like Night Slash as a egg move. I don't think there's any steel type moves with high crit ratio. So yeah, maybe if it had Night Slash as an egg move, it would go, do Night Slash instead of Knockoff. Knockoff is boring. Psyduck gets Simple. Simple's actually pretty good. Simple makes it so stats do double the effect pretty much. So if you use Swords Dance, you go to +4 instead of +2. If you get Tail Whipped, you go to -2 instead of -1. It just doubles the effect. Psyduck gets Mystical Power, which I believe is a Uxia's elf move. Yeah, that is a move. It's 70 power, 90% accurate, but it has a 100% chance of raising your special attack. So egg move, Mystical Power, you can just get +2 special attack for using it once. That's pretty good. It also gets Aqua Step. Aqua Step with Simple. Okay, I'm seeing what they're putting down. This definitely significantly improves the Pokemon. Golduck's base stat total really isn't that bad. Its base stat total is like 500 something. I think significantly improving is where I would put it. Mankey gets Iron Fist. Iron Fist increases the power of all punching moves by 20%. I mean, it's just a free 20% buff to punching moves. Not that Mankey typically runs punching moves. Like, it gets Dynamic Punch. I mean, obviously it gets the, Fire, Ice, Thunder Punch, I believe. I think it maybe gets Power Up Punch. I'll have to look at its level up moveset, because we have to take Annihilate. Oh wait, hold on. What's Annihilate's move again? It's Rage Fist. Does that count as a punching move? It does. Okay, then Rage Fist, Iron. Okay, yeah, that is always useful, because you're always going to run Rage Fist at Mankey. Like, there's no reason not to. Annihilate's insane, so that is always useful. As for if it's very OP, I mean, maybe 20% buff. So base 50 power, it takes it from 50 to 60 power. I think so, for every time your Primate or Annihilate rather gets hit, Rage Fist gains 50 power. So after being hit once, 20% of 100 is 20. So then 120, it's basically a close combat. And then 150, 20% of 150. If you hit 3 times, or I think it's twice, you go up to 180 power Rage Fist. It's definitely got the potential to be very overpowered. But I think that's more carried by the fact that Mankey is already overpowered, or well, Annihilate is. I'll say it's very overpowered anyway, but it's more so because of Annihilate. That extra like 30 base power though can like actually really make a difference. Growlithe gets Speed Boost. I mean, I feel like there's no reason not to do that. Like, Arcanine already has very good speed as it is, and just very good like kind of like middle ground stats where you can build it bulky or offensive and you can get away with it. This means you can like build it like bulky and also have speed. Speed is the most important stat in Pokemon. So I mean, that speed boost plus Intimidate, I think that's very overpowered. Guaranteeing that you can outspeed your opponent is huge. Hisuian Growlithe gets Strong Jaw. It doesn't get anything to do with Strong Jaw as egg moves, and Strong Jaw moves are pretty limited. I think it probably gets Crunch, Fire Fang, maybe. I don't know what else it'll get. Let's have a look. Yeah, it does get Crunch, Fire Fang, of course. Fire Fang goes from base 65 to base 98 though, which is pretty good considering it's like there's no recoil there. It also gets Thunderfang as TM, so maybe if you find a Thunderfang TM, that could be pretty decent. I mean, it's not bad, right? I would say it's always useful to have, because I feel like, I mean, if you're running Hisuian Growlithe, there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of extra power on your biting moves. Even if you decide to change it to Flare Blitz later, you are going to be leveling it up as a Growlithe, and you're not going to have Flare Blitz for a while. So just having Fire Fang, that's 98 power, I think is very good. Me personally, I would rather run Fire Fang than Flare Blitz. So yeah, I would say that's always useful. Poliwag gets Water Bubble. I'm just going to put that in very OP, just because Araquanid is like a Pokemon that has base 440 base stat total. I think it is 454. Araquanid's base stat total is ridiculously low, but it is carried by Water Bubble. So then if you give Water Bubble to a Pokemon like Politoed with 500 base stat total, obviously I know base stat total isn't everything, but Politoed has more offensive presence than Araquanid. And then thinking about Poliwrath. Poliwrath has a little bit more offensive presence than Araquanid. I think it's fair to say that it would be very overpowered with Water Bubble. I would definitely like to use that in conjunction with potential Swift Swim. Dude, like nothing lives. Nothing lives Water Bubble, Swift Swim. Because if Swift Swim's activated during the rain, yeah, that is disgusting. Abra's an interesting one. It has Opportunist, which Pokemon are constantly getting their stat raised in this game, mostly bosses, by all of the berries that they're eating. Now, I actually don't know. I imagine Opportunist would rock with that. It seizes the opponent's the opportunity to boost the same stat for itself. Yeah, if an opponent's stat is boosted. So it doesn't say if the opponent uses a move that boosts its stats. It's just if the opponent's stat is boosted, you steal that. I'm going to say that's very overpowered because one, you can have Mega Alakazam. Two, the final boss of the game is Eternatus, which is weak to Psychic, obviously, and will constantly be boosting stats. I mean, yeah, he's very frail, but if you get any offensive stats from just sitting there and seizing the opportunity with Opportunist, I think that's very overpowered. I'm pretty sure it's just stat boost as well, so it doesn't even take stat drops. Machop gets Iron Fist. We've already went over Iron Fist. You can get G-Max Machamp, which I've actually not used yet myself. But yeah, I mean, Machamp normally gets Dynamic Punch, no guard. So, I mean, it takes Dynamic Punch from 100 power to 120, and it confuses. Machop also gets Bullet Punch as an egg move. Bullet Punch is 48 power, which, you know, it's a little something. Yeah, I think, I'll say always useful. It could be very overpowered though. Bellsprout gets Corrosion, which is an ability that allows you to poison the opponent, even if it's a Steel type and a Poison type. This is actually an ability that Glimmet and Glamora get. I didn't actually know that. And Salazzle and Salandit. So it's not very well distributed ability. So to see Bellsprout get it is very hype. I mean, it's situational. Let's not kid ourselves. It's useful, but it's situational. Tentacool with Innards Out. Innards Out, when a Pokemon with Innards Out faints, it deals damage to the opponent equal to the amount of damage it took on the final blow. I think that's underrated, especially if like a boss is like really set up and ready to sweep you. I think Innards Out can genuinely come in clutch, and I think it's I mean, Tentacruel is already a decent Pokemon. Maybe not so much like for PokeRogue, but in competitive, it's already pretty decent. I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon because you've always got that like that backup of like, oh my god, it's set up, it's ready to sweep my whole team right now, and then you just send in Tentacool, let Tentacool get one shot, and then it can potentially just OHKO the Pokemon back. So I think that's really good. I might even put it in always useful. I think that's just always useful to have with you. It's like a nice, like, you know, party trick or whatever. Next up is Geodude that gets Rocky Payload. Oh, that's hype. I actually really like Rocky Payload. Rocky Payload increases the power of rock type moves used by this Pokemon by 50%. Usually only Bombardier gets it, so it's basically like dab rock on Bombardier just for free. Well, not for free, but for an ability slot. But giving that to a Pokemon that's already a rock type, I think that's pretty cool. I think it would significantly improve the Geodude. Then we've got Alolan Geodude with Electromorphosis. I don't remember what that is. That's Belly Bolt's ability. This Pokemon becomes charged when it takes damage, boosting the power of the next electric move the Pokemon uses. So usually Geodude gets Galvanize, Alolan Geodude that is. Galvanize, I believe, takes normal type moves and turns them into electric moves. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it does. And their power is boosted. So, I mean, Galvanize plus potential Electromorphosis, which is going to constantly be proccing because you're very slow. I'm going to go ahead and say that significantly improves the Pokemon. I mean, it might always be useful as well because it gives you, the Pokemon becomes charged. I don't think that raises the special defense because that would be insane. So yeah, I would say that's always useful. This is just like purely on like just on paper standpoint. But I think if you're taking a hit, getting a boost and then hitting them back with an electric move, it significantly improves. I don't know. Its typing is like really not great. So I can't really justify it being like that high up. Ponyta gets Pixelate. Interesting maneuver, but I'm kind of down for it. I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon because it makes it more than just a fire type. I never considered Rapidash with Pixelate before. Normally its abilities are kind of ass. It gets Runaway, Flash Fire, and Flame Body, but it's a decently fast Pokemon, and it gets Quick Attack, it gets Stomp. Honestly, its normal moves by level up aren't that great, but I think significantly improves is definitely the way to go, but Pixelate Quick Attack, it's pretty decent. Then there is Galarian Ponyta, which gets Magic Guard. Now, Magic Guard in this game is, it's not the cream of the crop like it usually is. I like Magic Guard a lot, but for example, so yeah, Magic Guard, just so anyone that doesn't know what it does, Magic Guard makes it so you don't get indirect damage. So you can take damage from poisoning, from burn, from leech seed, from curse, hail or sandstorm, which hail isn't a thing in this game anymore, so just sandstorm. Recoil damage. Wait, does this thing have recoil? Wait, hold on. It really depends if Ponyta has, I'm just thinking about it from a Delphox perspective, but Ponyta might actually have like good moves that it can use. It gets takedown, which it wouldn't take a recoil from that, but I wouldn't say takedown's a good move. It doesn't really get crazy crazy egg moves that work in conjunction with Magic Guard. There's no life orb in this game yet. I don't know if they're gonna add it, but if they do add life orb, then if we give life orb to Ponyta, then it doesn't take damage from life orb, which is very good. It doesn't take hazard damage either. I mean, for now, it's useful, but situational. But it definitely has potential. Wait, does this thing learn Flare Blitz? I feel like Galarian Ponyta should learn Flare Blitz. Hold on, I'm looking at Galarian Ponyta, not Galarian Rapidash. That's my mistake. It doesn't seem to learn Flare Blitz. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it there for now. Slowpoke gets Unaware. I think Unaware is always, I mean, actually I feel like it might be very OP because Pokemon in this game, like I said, are constantly getting stat buffs. And I think if you're, I mean, Slowbro is already really solid. And also you can get Mega Slowbro. If you're just unaware and you can't see stat changes, I personally think that's very overpowered, especially with Mega potential, like potential Mega Slowbro. Mega Slowbro gets Shell Armor, so you cannot be crit and you're unaware. And then there's Galarian Slowpoke with Poison Touch. Galarian Slowbro is a bit of a weird Pokemon. They kind of like gave Slowbro a worse type combo, I would say. They made his stat distribution a little worse because they made him less bulky and a bit more offensive. They gave him a gimmicky ability of Quick Draw, and to give him just Poison Touch. I mean, I guess you also have to take Galarian Slowking into consideration. I didn't do that for the Slowpoke because you don't need to, but Galarian Slowking gets Curious Medicine, and Curious Medicine, when the Pokemon enters a battle, it scatters medicine from its shell. It removes all stat changes from allies. That's so gimmicky. I don't know if Poison Touch on this thing, it's nowhere near as good as Unaware in my opinion. I mean, like, you know, you can do Quick Draw, Poison Touch with his, is this his move? Side Shell Arm? Is that like a chance to poison? I don't remember. Shell Side Arm. Nah, it may inflict poison actually. Yeah, I mean it stacks with that, I guess, plus Quick Draw, so you can just like get quick poisons, but I don't know, it's very situational. Magnemite gets Motor Drive. That's actually pretty good. Magnezone's issue, I think, is that it's pretty slow. So I mean, you resist the move. Oh yeah, it's instead of taking damage too, so you literally just eat the move for free and you get your speed raised. Yeah, I think, I mean, on top of the fact it's on Magnezone, which is already a very good Pokemon, I'll say that's always useful. I don't know if it's very OP, but it's definitely always useful. I mean, Steel types in this game are very good, specifically because of the final boss, but then the final boss does have Flamethrower. Yeah, I think it's always useful, yeah. Farfetch gets Pure Power, okay. I didn't know this. My first time finding out. For anyone that doesn't know, Pure Power is the same as Huge Power. Simple as, it's the same as Huge Power. Keen Eye and Inner Focus aren't really good, but it does have Defiant normally. Farfetch naturally is pretty slow, base 60. I'm gonna say, I mean, Pure Power would significantly improve Farfetch. It would. Farfetch is 90 base attack. Just for some context, Azumarill's base attack is like 55. And Pure Power, or Huge Power rather, which they're the same thing. Yeah, Pure Power, Azumarill's 50 base attack, and Pure Power makes that thing an absolute powerhouse. So, 90 power Farfetch. It definitely significantly improves the Pokemon. I mean, I would say it's good, but it still sucks actually. I think Farfetch is just a bit too frail for it to be useful. And Farfetch doesn't learn like crazy like priority moves or anything. Like I think it's like Quick Attack. Quick Attack's gonna be bussin', but that's it. Oh yes, Galarian Farfetch, which has Super Luck. Same as Galarian Meowth. The difference between Galarian Farfetch'd and regular Farfetch'd is Galarian Farfetch'd actually evolves into Surfetch'd. On top of that, this thing is meant to be like a crit machine. Yeah, when Farfetch'd's leak, it increases critical ratio by 2 stages. And if it's going based on current generation's crit rates, if you have Super Luck, that would make it 100% crit ratio for like all of its moves, I'm pretty sure. And that on a Surfetch'd, I mean, that actually might be crazy. I think guaranteed crits would be very OP if I'm reading this right. So yeah, plus 3 stages is a guaranteed crit. And if PokeRogue is following the same rules, and also Surf Edge gets Scrappy, which means you can hit ghost types and stuff. I mean, it's not the fastest Pokemon ever, but guaranteed critical hits, always nice, because they go through stat buffs, of course, which is, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna say you want super luck on this thing ASAP. Hold up, I'm just realizing the errors in my ways. I don't actually think Leak is an item that you can get. Like, just like how Marowak doesn't get Thick Club, I'm pretty sure. So that definitely bumps it down. If Leak becomes a held item, this thing is very OP. But because I'll say it's useful but situational. I mean, does it get moves that have high crit ratio? Leaf Blade. So it gets like 50% chance Leaf Blade crits. That's about as much as I can see. 50%. I just went from being really excited about that thing to being really yeah, it's useful but situational. If they add Leak as an item though, that thing goes crazy, so maybe don't do that. Then there's Doduo, which has Reckless. Reckless increases recall moves by 20%. I mean, it means you also take more recall damage, but I mean, this thing, Brave Bird Double Edge first and foremost. Does Doduo get high jump kick? That is the question. Does not appear that it gets high jump kick. If it did, that would be crazy. But I mean, Brave Bird Double Edge, oh, it gets high jump kick. Actually, it does get high jump kick as a egg move, so high jump kick, Brave Bird. I don't know if it learns Double Edge by level up in this game. Just based on the Gen 9 moveset, it doesn't look like it does. So maybe you'd have to teach it by TM. But I mean, Brave Bird and high jump kick with Reckless, I mean, I think that is I think that significantly improves Doduo. It's not like crazy OP, but it's I mean, it's always an improvement, because you're always gonna want to run. You're always gonna want Brave Bird. Seal gets Regenerator. Dugong is a water ice type, which isn't the best, but it has Thick Fat. Thick Fat plus Regenerator. I mean, those are two pretty good abilities. I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon. I don't know if it's good. It's better than nothing. It's not bad. Grimer gets Gooey, which just drops speed if you get hit. I think that's useful but situational. And then Alolan Grimer gets Merciless, which is an interesting ability. I like how well thought out these are. The Pokemon's attacks becomes critical hits if the target is poisoned. Now keep in mind, Alolan Muck has Poison Touch as an ability. So Poison Touch has a 30% chance of poisoning when making contact, I believe. Plus you also get like Poison Jab. So Merciless on this thing, and also considering the fact it's a dark poison type, which is a really good type combo, because I think you're only weak to ground. I think that's always useful. I don't know if it's OP, but I mean, constant crits if you're poisoned and it's got a good chance of poisoning you, I think that's always useful. Shelter gets Moxie. Okay. I mean, I will say it does depend on what game mode you're playing, because if you're playing Endless, Moxie is like just dumb. I did so well with a Moxie Crocodile, because the way it works in Endless, so the way the PokeRogue works, your stat changes go over to the next battle until you are swapped out. And if a trainer battle pops up, then you return your Pokemon and then send them back out, so just so you're not steamrolling the whole game. In Endless, at least currently, there is no trainer battles. So yeah, I mean, it depends on what game mode you're playing, I suppose. But I'm gonna say that it's OP, considering the fact that Cloyster can definitely it gets Water Shuriken too, and Baneful Bunker and Recover and Body Press as egg moves. Yeah, I feel like Shelter with Moxie is just very good, because it already gets Shell Smash and stuff, and it means you don't even necessarily have to get a Shell Smash off. You get Water Shuriken, which is a priority move. That's insane. Ghastly, as I showed at the beginning of this video, gets Perish Body. Perish Body is currently not implemented in the game. I'm sure a lot of these abilities are currently not implemented in the game though, as of yet. But Perish Body makes it so when hit with a move that makes direct contact, the Pokemon and the attacker will faint after 3 turns, unless they switch out of the battle. I'm going to say that it is useful but situational. I feel like if you're using Gengar, you maybe won't even want to use Perish Body, because I feel like, I mean, yeah, it's nice that the opponent will, I mean, I don't know, it's hard, because I feel like Gengar does do a lot of switching. As soon as Gengar sees something in front of it that it can't kill, it wants to switch out. So like, maybe Perish Body is actually pretty good, but it's one of those weird abilities where I think because you don't really, I mean, you can control when it gets activated, but like it can accidentally get activated too, which, you know, could screw you over if you're if it's your last Pokemon, for example. I think it's useful but situational. I wouldn't say it's not worth the investment, and I wouldn't say that the Pokemon sucks, because Gengar doesn't suck. And there's also Gmax and Mega Gengar as well. Onix gets Rocky Payload, and as we discussed earlier, it boosts the power of rock moves. Not really good for Onix, but for Steelix that loses its rock type, I think that is always useful to have. I don't think there's anything wrong with Steelix remaining some rock stab, essentially, considering the fact that Steelix usually loses the rock typing. So yeah, I think that's actually pretty good. That's actually a really smart idea. Drowsy gets Bad Dreams. It's about time. Bad Dreams makes it so all sleeping opponents lose 1/8 of their maximum HP at the end of each turn. I mean, that's nice to have as a passive ability. Does Drowsy learn consistent ways to put opponents to sleep is the question, though. I don't believe so. I think it's hypnosis mostly. It gets Dream Eater, Metronome, Nightmare, and Synchronoise. So it gets a lot of like sleep ability stuff as egg moves, but it doesn't get like anything better than hypnosis. So I mean, I think it's useful but situational, but I do think ultimately it is a big gimmick, so I think it's good, but the Pokemon probably still sucks. It could maybe be fun to use, but I wouldn't say it's very good. Krabby gets Anger Shell, which if put below half HP gets crazy buffs, I believe. Hold on, let me double check. When an attack causes its HP to drop below half or less, so it has to be an actual damaging move. I think if it's like poisoned and it goes below half, or leech seeded, I don't think it does it. Or if you're holding a life orb, I don't think it does it. But if an attack drops it below half HP or less, this Pokemon gets angry. Defense and special defense stats are dropped, but attack, special attack, and speed are raised. So it's like Shell Smash as an ability. This is an interesting one because Kingler, I think, has Shell Smashing speed. I think the main thing is a little concerning is it's like defenses are like lopsided. Its special defense is really bad. Its physical defense is really good. So it's like if you get hit with a special move, you're probably just dead. Maybe you can hang on. It doesn't have the best HP stat. But if you get hit with the physical move, is it enough to put you below half? It's a very situational one, but I mean, it definitely could be very good. I won't deny that. And also, Kingler, or Krabby rather, gets Shore Up and Shell Smash, Diesel's Edge, Crush, Grip. It gets some pretty good egg moves. You get Shell Smash already as an egg move. I would say it would significantly improve the Pokemon. I mean, it's useful, but it is situational though, obviously as well. Oh, there is Gmax Kingler too. I forgot about that. Gmax Kingler's got some pretty beefy stats. You know what? I think I'll keep it as significantly improves the Pokemon, because obviously it's not guaranteed that you'll get a Gmax. I think that's a fair placement for now. Not to say that it can't go absolutely insanely OP style, because it definitely can go insane. Like it's the potential is there, but it's just about consistency, and I don't know if it's going to be the most consistent. Galvanize Voltorb. We explained before that Galvanize makes it so normal type moves become electric moves. In terms of electric moves, this guy gets, I mean, obviously there's explosion, but his physical attack's kind of buns, so I wouldn't recommend that personally. It gets Swift, Hyper Beam. If you somehow get Hyper Beam on it, that could be crazy. If you somehow get Terra Blast on it, that could be crazy. Crazy is a strong word though. I don't know if Galvanize is very good on this actually. I mean, it helps, but its normal moves aren't crazy good. I think it's definitely useful but situational. Hisuian Voltorb gets Hadron Engine. Okay. Someone has Hisuian Electrode favoritism, my lord. Listen, I get it. I get it. I do. Hadron Engine is typically the signature ability of Miraidon. Hadron Engine turns the ground into electric terrain when the Pokemon enters the battlefield. Futuristic engine within the Pokemon allows it to boost its special attack on electric terrain. So yeah, I mean it's kind of like Miraidon at home. If anything, it's like, I think it's faster than Miraidon, but when you're that fast, I don't know if you necessarily need that speed. But yeah, it's Miraidon at home. Its special attack gets buffed and its electric moves gets buffed on the electric terrain as it is. I think it's safe to say that's very OP, considering the fact that it's also it's a Pokemon. It's one of the few Pokemon that can also set up electric terrain for your like Paradox Mons. I think that's very OP. Execute gets Parental Bond. Keep in mind, Execute can evolve into Alolan or regular Executor. But I mean, Parental Bond is just always a good ability. You get to hit twice. Obviously, the second hit isn't as strong. Executor is like a decent Pokemon. It's not like mind-blowing. I would say that it significantly improves the Pokemon though. And Parental Bond is definitely puts it up there as like ooh, I kind of want to use that Pokemon. Next up is Cubone, which like I said, I don't believe the Thick Club's in the game, so hugely nerfed just based on that alone. So it gets Moody, which Moody can definitely be an insane ability. Moody just at random will raise and boost stats after every turn. But because of the lack of Thick Club, I mean, I think it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. Even Alolan Marowak, I don't think it's saved by Moody, because like you need You need like a physical attack buff just to be on par with the Alolan Marowak usually. And then from there, you know, Moody can maybe help you. I don't know. Maybe it's useful but situational. I'm just personally not like ecstatic to use it unless it gets Thick Club. Maybe Thick Club can be built into it. I don't know. I feel like that maybe be a little bit OP though. The Hitmons don't have passives because they go to Tyrogue. So let's go grab Tyrogue. Tyrogue has stamina. Oh my god. Okay, so if Tyrogue or well any of the Hitmons is hit, it gets a physical defense boost for free. I mean Mudsdale and Archewalodon are both Pokemon that get stamina, and they are very stupid Pokemon. I don't know if any of the Hitmons get Body Press. Mach Punch, Rapid Spin, Triple Kick, Collision Course. Okay, so I don't know if any of the Hitmons get Body Press, because if they did, that would like change everything. I don't imagine they get Body Press. I mean, under the assumption it doesn't get Body Press, I still think like a Hitmontop, for example, would be incredible. Hitmontop is an incredible Pokemon because of Intimidate. Imagine you come in, Intimidate, and then they attack you with -1 attack, and then you also get Stamina boost. If it's a physical Pokemon, that Pokemon just gets walled. Is it very OP though? I think so, yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe it's my bias showing, but like I think Hitmontop's an incredible Pokemon, and I think Stamina on top of already an incredible Pokemon is just, I think it's overpowered. Then there's Lickitung, which gets Earth Eater. That's an interesting choice, but I mean, I think it's always useful to have. Like Earth Eaters, I mean, maybe it significantly improves the Pokemon. I don't know if like Licky's like that good. Yeah, I wouldn't say Licky's that good. Yeah, it's like Own Tempo, Oblivious Cloud. Yeah, Earth Eater would yeah, it's useful but situational really. It's Licky's just not great, to be honest. Earth Eater's nice though, but it doesn't really like protect a weakness, I would say, so it's not really, you know. Coughing gets Flare Boost, which applies to both Weezings. Flare Boost powers up special attack when burnt. Usually it's exclusive to Drifloon, but Coughing gets it now. Coughing is typically like a bulky sort of wall, so this gives it like another option. I think it's a bit situational though. I don't know if I'd want my Weezing to be taking damage and being burned, because I think the point of it is that it's bulky and lives. It's nice that the special attack will be boosted, but yeah, I don't know if it really fits in with his kit. I don't know if it really does enough for me personally, especially because his egg moves aren't really, it's Infestation, Pain Split, Corrosive Gas, and Gunk Shot. They don't really lend for being like this special attacking monster. And plus also, as of right now, getting burned is really impossible. I think this is fine, but like getting burned is situational because you get healed every 10 floors as well. So unless they add like a Flame Orb biome, which I think Sam said he was planning on doing something to make it so like, you know, something like, so like Poison Heal, stuff like that, you know, Guts, you know, abilities that rely on status inflictions. I think Sam is going to make a way for those to be more consistent. Like I think just adding the Flame Orb and Toxic Orb would be the way to do that. So as for now, this ability is even worse. Even if those items are added, I still don't think it's much better than useful but situational. But for right now, I would say that it's not worth the investment. Yeah, I think that's what I would say personally. Rhyhorn gets Filter. Filter makes it so super effective damage is reduced by 25%. Rhyperior already gets Solid Rock, which is the same ability. So super effective damage. I don't know how it stacks. I don't know if it goes 25-25, so it's 50%, or if it's like 25% of 25%, so it's like some weird number. But either way, I think anything that reduces like super effective damage is really, it significantly improves it. It's always useful to have. So I think that would make Rhyperior a lot more fun to use, because you're not getting one shot by, well, you maybe still get one shot by Surf, but you're not getting one shot by maybe like Aqua Tail or something, or yeah, whatever. Now Chansey is in a similar spot to the other baby Pokemon, so it's Happiny, and Happiny, let me come all the way down here to Gen 4 to find Happiny. Happiny gets Triage, which again, it's an ability that prioritizes healing moves, priority Healing Wish, priority Soft Boiled, priority Life Dew, Heal Pulse as well. I mean, I think if you get priority Healing Wish, I think that is very OP, because you can literally just save, like if you've got a Pokemon on your team that's like really damaged but you need it, just send this thing out, Healing Wish, and you bring it back up to a bunch of like to full health. So like I think it's full health and full like it sort of statuses too. Like it literally just heals them up. Maybe I'm putting too much like pressure on Healing Wish, but like regardless, Triage on Blissey is very good, even if it's like Wish. I don't know if it gets Wish at all, but yeah, it's very good. at the very least. Tangela gets Tangling Hair, which is an ability that drops the opponent's speed if they hit you. Useful but situational. Tangrowth is decent, but I don't think that really helps it much. Then we have Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan gets Iron Fist. Kangaskhan is known for using like Power Up Punch and stuff like that. Does it get Power Up Punch as an egg move? It does. Yeah, it gets Power Up Punch. It gets Hammer Arm, which is also buffed. I mean, the potential to have Mega Kangaskhan with Iron Fist, it's just always useful. I don't know if Iron Fist makes it OP. Maybe. Yeah, I think Rage Fist or whatever the move that Annihilate has is a special situation. Horsey gets Drizzle. Okay. It also has Swift Swim as a normal ability. Yeah, that is just straight into very OP. Like it just sets up its own rain and it's faster than everything. Yeah, that is OP. Goldeen gets Multiscale. It also gets Fish's Rend as an egg move, which is interesting, but Multiscale makes it so at full HP it takes half damage, which allows it to take a hit. It also gets like Lightning Rod, which is you know, gets rid of one of its weaknesses. Multiscale plus Lightning Rod. This thing's got decent survivability. Fish's Rend isn't great on it unless you have Swift Swim, and at that point it's going to be going crazy. I think the fact that it kind of like allows it to, it significantly improves the Pokemon. It allows it to take a hit better. Staryu gets Regenerator, which is very fitting. And also, I think always useful. It's always nice to just be able to swap out and regain health. Mime Jr. Gets Magic Bounce. Magic Bounce is really good. I don't know how good it is in PokeRogue. I'd have to think about that for a second. I think it's definitely more consistent in like competitive battling, because I don't think you see as many like hazards and stuff like that in PokeRogue. Reflects status changing moves instead of getting hit by them. I think it would significantly improve Mr. Mime to the point where it's maybe worth using. Magic Bounce would also apply to Mr. Rhyme, which is just kind of like a mind melt a little bit. Mr. Rhyme isn't like too crazy though. Magic Bounce is just always nice to have, to be honest. And there's Scyther with Speed Boost. Oh my goodness. I mean, speed is the most important stat of the game. I would wager that is very OP, especially on a potential Mega Scissor. Nothing like against having like always having extra speed is just, it's never a bad thing unless you're like trying to run Trick Room, but I don't think Scissor would necessarily want to run Trick Room. Smoochum gets Cute Charm, which me personally would say that is not really worth investing in. Elekid gets Iron Fist. It gets Plasma Fists as an egg move, which makes it basically like close combat power. I would say that is always useful. It's just always nice to have because he does learn a lot of punching moves as it is. And if you get Plasma Fists as an egg move, it gets Ice Hammer too. I don't know if that actually counts. Oh, it does. Ice Hammer counts. It gets Drain Punch too, which also counts. So yeah, all of its egg moves are like buffed by Iron Fist, except Knockoff. Knockoff is not buffed by Iron Fist. Yeah, well, this thing goes crazy. It also gets Fire Punch as a move, I'm pretty sure, just in general, maybe by like TM or something. But yeah, wow, Iron Fist on nothing is pretty good. Magby gets Contrary, which what move does Magby get that makes Contrary useful? Temper Flare, Snipe Shot, Zap Cannon, Armor Cannon. Oh, Armor Cannon I believe drops the defenses, or no, wait, no, special attack. So Contrary Armor Cannon. Wait, that's insane. Yeah, Armor Cannon drops the the defense and special defense. Never mind. I thought it dropped this special attack. Defense and special defense though, so it makes it bulkier after every turn that you use it instead of, and I mean, it's also nice for, you know, when you're against opponents. I mean, I think that's just always useful to have. I wouldn't say it's OP because I don't think Magnetar is OP, but Contrary is just a good ability. Can't think of any other use case for it besides Armor Cannon. Pinsir gets Sap Sipper, and then, you know, of course you want to take Mega Pinsir into account. I mean, it's always nice to be able to switch in on grass moves being resisted, but instead of just them being resisted, you just eat them and get an attack buff. I mean, that's always useful to have. It doesn't get rid of a weakness or anything, so I don't know if it's OP, but it's very useful to have. Tauros gets Rockhead, which, I mean, it gets Head Charge as a egg move. So, I mean, Rockhead is, yeah, that's just always useful to have on Tauros. I wouldn't say it's necessarily OP, but not taking recoil damage from any of your like recoil moves, that's always a good thing. Then there is Paldean Tauros, which I think they all just come under the same thing. Which has Rattled. Rattled makes it so, I believe, let me just double check. Bug, Ghost, or Dark move, its speed is raised by 1 stage. Yeah, that's useful, but it's situational. It's nice that it resists it resists Dark and Bug, so it can come in, take a hit, get a speed raise. It's useful, but definitely situational. Berserk on Magikarp. Okay. Raises the Pokemon special attack by 1 stage when its HP falls below 50%. Gyarados doesn't have unusable special attack, but I don't think anyone's really gonna want to use it, especially because you have to rely on Berserk to make it decent. So I would personally say that that's not worth the investment. Lapras gets Liquid Voice, very common for it to get in like fan games and stuff. Causes all sound-based moves to become a water type, also gains water stab from those moves. Lapras already has water stabs. I don't think it boosts the move, which is what makes Liquid Voice kind of mid. Like it doesn't boost. So for example, if you use Hyper Voice on Lapras, it doesn't make it stronger than if you were to just use like Sparkling Aria, which Lapras gets Sparkling Aria. It gets Relic Song, so Relic Song Liquid Voice, that could be pretty good. Useful but situational. Relic Song's got a 50% chance to put the Pokemon you're using on to sleep. That plus Water Stab, it's useful. Water type Relic Song, it's useful. Situational though, because Lapras isn't the best Pokemon ever. I guess you can have Gmax Lapras though. I might just stick to it being useful though. Ditto has no egg moves and it has Gooey. I mean, I don't think it's worth the investment because you're probably just not even going to be using Ditto as a Ditto. Then we're on to Eevee. That gets Protein. Oh my goodness. Okay, Eevee gets Protein. I mean, this just, you know, makes all the evolutions absolute monsters. I mean, to be fair though, if it's nerfed Protein, then it's just for that one turn of the battle. You know, I'll say it's very useful. I'm not going to say it's very OP. I'll say it's very useful. I mean, it depends on the evolution, but like it's a weird situational ability. If you use it right, it can be very useful. I don't know if it's OP though, especially because of the Protein nerf. Porygon gets Quark Drive, which of course, you know, on its own isn't really great, but if you have a Pokemon that can set up electric terrain, that can be pretty decent. It's useful but situational. Almanite gets Anger Shell, pretty much a free Shell Smash, like we mentioned earlier. I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon. I don't know if there's anything special about Almanite that makes Anger Shell better on it than Kingler. Kabuto gets Sharpness, Ceaseless Edge, Aqua Cutter, and Mighty Cleave as egg moves. Sharpness increases all slicing moves by 50%. So Aqua Cutter goes from 70 power to 105. Aqua Cutter has an increased crit ratio as well. Ceaseless Edge, which layers the traps of spikes, and in classic mode, they stay up for 5 turns. In endless mode, they leave after every biome, but in classic mode, they stay up for 5 turns, which is really good. Ooh, I'm gonna say that this thing is always useful with Sharpness. It might be OP. It might be. What does Mighty Cleave do again? Mighty Cleave, oh, it hits targets that even protect themselves. Yeah, Mighty Cleave goes from 95 power to 143. Jesus, okay. That's Rock Stab too. This thing might be OP. Sharpness Kabuto might be OP just because of the moves that it learns as egg moves. Aerodactyl gets Photosynthesis, which again, it's just a situational ability. Could go crazy on him, especially, you know, Mega Aerodactyl. Mega Aerodactyl is a force to be reckoned with. I can't find Aerodactyl. Here he is. Useful but situational for sure. Snorlax has no passives because Munchlax does. Munchlax gets Cudchew. I actually quite like Cudchew, and Snorlax is already a very good Pokemon. I'm sorry, let me go grab Munchlax. Snorlax is already a very good Pokemon, and you can also get Gmax Snorlax, which is even better. I'll explain what Cudchew does. Especially in a game like PokeRogue, Cudchew causes the Pokemon to reuse an already consumed berry at the end of the next turn. So like it just gets the berry twice, and it like staggers the effect of it. I think that's always useful to have on Munchlax, especially if you've got like Covet and you're like stealing items and stuff like that. Yeah, I think Cudchew's just nice to have because of how frequent. I think Munchlax gets pickup too, which is nice early on because you can just like stack a bunch of berries from other Pokemon. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think Cudchew's really good. Articuno gets Snow Warning, which, I mean, guaranteed blizzards is always useful. I don't know if Articuno is necessarily a great Pokemon because it's Articuno, but I think Snow Warning would definitely significantly improve it. Galarian Articuno gets Serene Grace, which makes it more likely for secondary effects to happen. Naturally, Galarian Articuno gets competitive. Oh yeah, regular Articuno has Snow Cloak as a hidden ability, so 20% invasion increase in Hailstorm, which if you have Snow Warning plus Snow Cloak, it can be very annoying to deal with. As for Galarian Articuno learns Ancient Power. Ancient Power with Serene Grace could be kind of annoying to deal with. I mean, it's Serene Grace. I think it's just always useful to have. And then there's Zapdos that gets Drizzle. Same boat as Articuno, where it just gets guaranteed Thunders off. I think that's very OP, just because Zapdos himself is very OP already. Zapdos has Static as a hidden ability, which isn't really related to Drizzle, unfortunately, but I think just the guaranteed Thunders and also Hurricane. Zapdos gets Hurricane usually. I don't know if it gets Hurricane in this game. It might be like it's usually a TM, so I don't know how you would learn Hurricane unless it gets Hurricane as an egg move. It doesn't. Yeah. I still think Guaranteed Thunders is very OP. And also just Drizzle Setters are always good. Galarian Zapdos gets Tough Claws. Tough Claws is incredible. Galarian Zapdos normally has Defiant, which is already very good. Compare that with Tough Claws, which powers up moves that makes direct contact, which it's a physical attacker, so most of its moves will. Yeah, I think Tough Claws, Galarian Zapdos is very overpowered. Then there's Moltres. Of course, Moltres has Drought. Unfortunately, there's no moves that gain accuracy. I mean, I think a Drought Setter, though, in general, is just very OP. I mean, I'm trying to think about its typing. I don't know how much its typing really comes into account here. Its typing isn't great, but like hazards aren't the most common. But Moltres just has good stats naturally. Flame Body. I don't know. I might just make it always useful. I wouldn't say it's very overpowered. I mean, Drought is very good, though. Just being able to set up the Sun naturally is very good. It's maybe like Charizard Y at home, which is pretty damn good. Maybe it is very OP. It's teetering the line. And then there's Galarian Moltres, which has Berserk. And it's actually a Pokemon that can actually make very good use of Berserk. That's its normal ability, though. Galarian Moltres' hidden passive ability is Generator. I mean, the abilities kind of contradict themselves, but I'm also the one that I'm on the wavelength of, even if you get stat buffs, if what you're looking at in front of you is going to take you out, you should switch out. And Regenerator actually helps that, because if you switch out and you get health over half again because of Regenerator, then you can proc Berserk again potentially. So actually, I would say that's very OP. Then there's Dratini that gets Delta Stream. That's usually Mega Rayquaza's ability. Delta Stream makes it so the weather stays active as long as the ability bearer remains in battle, but stops when the Pokemon is switched out. Electric, Ice, and Rock moves deal normal damage to any flying type Pokemon in the battle instead of super effective. And Strong Winds cannot be replaced by a regular weather condition. In other words, the moves Hail, Rain Dance, Sunny Day, Sandstorm, and the abilities Drizzle, Drought, Sandstream, Snow Warning will fail. I mean, I think that is just, I mean, it's a very good ability. It's Mega Rayquaza ability. I think it's very OP, just to multi-scale, plus your Ice is only 2 times super effective on you, and Rock is, I think, neutral. It like messes up 2 of your weaknesses pretty significantly in conjunction with multi-scale. Yeah, I think that's very OP. And finally, of Gen 1, we're on to Mewtwo. It has Berserk. I don't know what I expected. I mean, it's very coded towards Special Mewtwo then, and like Mewtwo X doesn't really get anything, which kind of is unfortunate. I mean, Mewtwo, of course, he's very OP. He's Mewtwo. And if you get Mewtwo below half health, his special attack is going to go +2. That's OP. Maybe not for Mega Mewtwo X, but Mega Mewtwo X already has insane physical attack anyway. And then Mew gets Protein, which we've already discussed. Protein is a bit of a weird one. I would say on Mew, though, it's very OP, considering Mew can learn so many moves. So many. Mew is literally like, I mean, in this game, it's not as easy accessible because TMs are very infrequent, but depending on the moves, on Mew, maybe just because of how infrequent you learn moves, maybe on Mew, it's just like decent. Just looking at Mew's level up moveset. I mean, it does learn like, it gets Aura Sphere, it gets Psychic, it gets Ancient Power. Yeah, its level up moves don't really do it great. It's Side Strike, Decorate, it gets Revival Blessing and Sketch. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, okay, on Mew in this game, I'm gonna say it's always useful just because you don't just get TMs willy-nilly. But it's definitely good. So we're on to Generation 2 now. First Pokemon is Chikorita, which has Triage. Triage affects +3 priority to HP restoring moves. So I mean, obviously, first of all, Giga Drain, pretty huge just for that alone. Chikorita does get Sappy Seed as an egg move, and Sappy Seed is a move from Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and deals damage and plants a seed on a target that drains their HP. So it's similar to Leech Seed. Okay, if that's the case, it shouldn't be affected by Triage because Leech Seed is not affected by Triage. It's direct healing. So like Slack Off, Roost, Oblivion Wing, Strength, that like moves that literally heal you. I guess Wish doesn't technically heal you right away, but I mean, Meganium getting priority Giga Drain is huge. Also, priority Synthesis is huge. So for that, I think it's always useful, but I don't think it's OP. I also have a thing here for not tiered Pokemon, just to keep things clean down there. Cyndaquil gets Turbo Blaze. Oh my god. That's pretty much just Mold Breaker. And Mold Breaker ignores abilities. Like, just like if Fur Coat doesn't exist, Heat Proof doesn't exist, Levitate doesn't exist, so you can Earthquake, you can have Earthquake on your Typhlosion. Yeah, I think this is always useful to have. It affects a lot more abilities than you would think. Scorching Sands, yeah, this thing gets Scorching Sands. You can literally Scorching Sands a Levitating Mon. I don't know how, I mean, I guess it'll be useful against like Ghastly. But yeah, I think it's always useful to have. Totodile has Strong Jaw, which I can say is pretty useful. Crunch and Ice Fang is mainly the moves that you're going to be using. I would say always useful. I don't think it's OP by any stretch, because I mean Ice Fang's based at it's a pretty low power move, so with Strong Jaw it gets put up to like being closer to just like a normal move. And Crunch, you know, it's nice. It's got nice coverage with Crunch and Ice Fang, but those are the only moves it really gets that you want to take advantage of it with. So Centric gets Fluffy, which is just like Fur Coat, it doubles your defense, but with a caveat of you are now basically weak to fire. I think that is a very fitting ability. His defense naturally is 64, which isn't too bad. I mean, I think it's in the camp of it's good, but the Pokemon sucks. Hoot Hoot gets Curse Body. It's sure. It's fine, but I mean, I'd just say it's not worth the investment, honestly. I don't think Noctowl's worth the investment at all. Calm Mind, Esper Wing, Freezing Glare, Oblivion Wing. Yeah. I feel like for like Noctowl and stuff like that, it would take some like stat changes for them to be worth it. Ladybug gets Screen Cleaner. I think it's just not worth the investment. I think Ledian is an atrocious Pokemon, and Screen Cleaner is not going to make that any better, unfortunately. Spinarak gets Prankster, which is kind of quirky. Prankster's always fun, especially on a Pokemon that's as slow as Aridos. Aridos is only 40 base speed for some godforsaken reason. His abilities aren't really great naturally. Swarm, Insomnia, Sniper, they're all just kind of like middle of the pack abilities, I would say. And as for what it can make use of with Prankster, it gets Prankster Sticky Webs, Prankster Toxic Thread, Prankster Agility, Prankster Scary Face, Prankster String Shot, Prankster Focus Energy, and yeah, whatever other moves it learns. Apparently it learns Swords Dance on Evolution, Prankster Swords Dance. Those are all like okay, but I personally like it's good, but it's not worth the investment in my opinion. The Pokemon's still gonna suck. Chinchou gets Regenerator. Chinchou and Lantern are already fantastic Pokemon, so I think giving it Regenerator makes it just useful. I wouldn't say it's OP, but I mean it gets Regenerator and also Volt Absorb and potentially Water Absorb. Yeah, very useful. Togepi has Opportunist. I genuinely think there's a lot of potential with Opportunist in this game. I gave Abra OP. I guess it really is kind of situational. I mean, I could say that it's OP with Opportunist just because of how many stat buffs there is in this game. I don't think Opportunist is actually implemented yet, but yeah, I think a Togekiss with Opportunist could go crazy. Natu gets Tinted Lens, which is an ability that basically, if it's not very effective, it becomes neutral, which is pretty good because it makes it a lot harder for Pokemon to just switch in on you. Unfortunately, though, Xatu doesn't have the best offensive presence, but I think it is a significant improvement to the Pokemon. Mareep gets Fluffy again. Nice defense on it. Yeah, it's always useful. I mean, it sucks that it's got like a bit of a fire weakness now, but beforehand it only had a ground weakness. So I mean, it's just a trade-off. You know, it is situational in some regards because you know, in some regards you wouldn't want there to be a fire weakness there. But for double defenses, I think it's a fine trade-off. I don't know if it's. I mean, it could be OP, especially on Mega Ampharos. Fluffy Mega Ampharos honestly could be quite nasty. I'm debating on if it's OP or not. I feel like there's like different stages of like OP. I feel like if I had to like Mewtwo is obviously way more OP than like a Hitmontop, for example. But I mean, yeah, I guess Mega Ampharos 610 base stat total with Fluffy. I would say that's pretty OP. Meryl, oh, it's got to be Azurill. Azurill has a nerve. Again, like I previously mentioned, a nerve stops berries, just stops the Pokemon from eating them completely. And I mean Azumarill is already a fantastic Pokemon. I think giving it the ability to stop the opponent from eating berries and getting all those stat buffs and healing, especially when you've got priority moves, I would say that's pretty OP. Bonsly has Sap Sipper. Ooh, that is a significant improvement. I don't know if it's, I mean, it's always useful to have on Sudowoodo, because it means you lose the grass weakness and you also just get an attack buff, which is pretty good. Sudowoodo also gets Sturdy and Rockhead, so you can, you know, guarantee some damage. It also gets Sucker Punch. Yeah, you know what? I think that's always useful to have. Maybe it's more of like just a significantly improves the Pokemon moment. I think he can definitely do some damage though. Hoppip gets Prankster, which is really fun. It's nice that Hoppip gets a hidden ability that isn't Aerialate. As much as I love Aerialate Jumpluff, it's the only thing that people ever do is give it Aerialate, so it's nice that it's more of a utility mon in this game. Obviously it gets U-Turn, which is always good for utility. It gets Memento, Prankster Memento. I mean, to be fair, it's kind of just making it similar to a Whimsicott in that regard, in my opinion. Prankster Synthesis, Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, Poison Powder, Leech Seed. It's kind of just like Whimsicott, but the thing is Whimsicott is good. So, I mean, I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon. I mean, obviously it's always useful to have, but I don't know if it's better than like Moxie Spear. Like it's basically just making it similar to an already existing Pokemon, which I have mixed feelings on because like we already have that Pokemon, you know? Then there's Apom. Apom has Scrappy. Huge ability to have. I would say that is always useful. It allows it to hit ghost types with normal and fighting moves. I mean, it's not a normal fighting type, but it learns a lot of fighting moves, I would say. So yeah, that's huge. There's no reason not to love that. Gonna need a miracle for Sunkern here. Drought. Unfortunately, Sunkern is not a grass fire type. It is just a pure grass type, but it does get drought. It is a drought setter. So I would say that plus the fact I'm pretty sure it gets chlorophyll. Let me double check. Yeah, it gets chlorophyll and also solar power. You probably want chlorophyll. I think that significantly improves the Pokemon. I feel like it needs to have something like Weather Ball in its level up moveset to be like, you know, pretty nice, but yeah, significantly improves it, but I wouldn't say it's like any better than that. Yanma gets Infiltrator, which is a good ability. Lets you go past substitutes, but I think it's a bit situational. Wooper gets Simple. We talked about Simple earlier. It makes it so that you get double stat boosts. So I'm trying to think in Wooper's case. I mean, I think he gets Curse, right? So that's pretty good. Gets Amnesia. Yeah, Simple, I would say, is always useful. And then there's Paldean Wooper that gets Thick Fat, which removes an ice weakness pretty much, which is one of its only weaknesses. Actually, wait. Yeah, I think now its only weakness with Thick Fat is pretty much ground. Let me double check, because it gets Water Absorb as a second ability. So Water Absorb, actually no, I'm wrong. Water Absorb plus Thick Fat makes it so ground and psychic is its only weakness. Really good. I would definitely always invest into that. Murkrow gets Defiant. Maybe not so much good for Murkrow, but good for Honchkrow. Like a lot of dark types, Honchkrow has Moxie as a hidden ability. So pair that with Defiant, an ability that raises your stats if any of your stats are dropped. I think it significantly improves the Pokemon. Maybe always useful in conjunction with Moxie. Always useful to have, because you basically can't get your stats dropped without just becoming a monster. So like there's no way to stop Moxie pretty much. Misdreavus gets Dazzling, which is the same as Queenly Majesty. You cannot be hit with priority moves, which is huge for Sucker Punch, honestly, and Scrappy Fake Out. Significant improvement for the Pokemon to not be hit with Sucker Punch. Unknown, Pickup. Okay, Unknown's not great, but Pickup is a really good ability in this game. So if its whole thing is just that it can pick up items, I guess, then I think it significantly improves Unknown. I don't know if it's worth investing into though. It's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. Yeah, let's go with that. Then we got Why Not. Why Not gets Stamina. Oh my god. I feel like that kind of... Oh my god, in Egg moves, it gets Baton Pass, Substitute, Taunt, and Recover. I feel like that kind of contradicts the point of Wobbuffet. I'm a little iffy on this one, because Wobbuffet, the whole deal is that you're meant to take damage and then distribute it back, right? But if your defenses are really high because you have stamina, there's always your special defenses, I suppose, but that's it. I mean, you can Baton Pass, actually. Hold on, it has Baton Pass. It could be like a defense machine. I think it... The thing is, I already think that Wobbuffet is a very good Pokemon. You just need to know how to use it. So I think I think stamina is useful, but it's very situational. Girafarig has Parental Bond, which again makes you hit multiple times. I think especially on Farigiraf, it's a significant improvement to the Pokemon. You know, it's always useful. Its Parental Bond is just never not good. Pineco gets Iron Barbs. That is always useful. You want your Fortress to take physical hits and to do as much chip damage as you can. Dunsparce gets Marvel's Scale, which means if you are statused, your defense goes up quite significantly. So on to Dunsparce, I think that's pretty useful. Let me have a look, double check. All effects of the status condition remain. So losing HP by poison or burn, speed drop and paralysis, or being unable to attack with paralysis, freeze, sleep. So like you would need to run like a special to Dunsparce for this to be worth it, I think, because burn does the least damage. So you probably want to give burn to yourself. So you maybe want to run a special to Dunsparce with that. But yeah, I think it's useful but situational. Then we got my homie Gligar with Merciless. We talked about this. Basically, if the opponent's poisoned, you get to crit them. Gligar doesn't seem to have the most consistent methods of poisoning though, so I think it's useful but situational. Snubbull gets Ball Fetch. I don't know what Ball Fetch does in the context of PokeRogue. I can only imagine that if I don't know. Usually if the Pokemon is not holding an item, it will fetch the Pokeball from the first failed throw of the battle. Ah, okay. Interesting. So maybe it just takes out the if not holding an item, and then just first failed throw, it'll fetch the ball back for you. I mean, I think that's pretty decent because if you get like rogue balls, it'll allow you to maybe save them. So I mean, I think it's useful but situational. I don't think it's maybe, I don't know if it's worth taking with you because ground ball's not that good. Ah, okay. So ball fetch doesn't have an effect in PokeRogue yet. But if it works like that, where you get the first ball back, like say you throw a rogue ball, fails, you get it back. I don't think it's worth bringing a grand ball for that. So it's, it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. Let's go with that. Quillfish gets Liquid Ooze, which means if you drain it with like, you know, Giga Drain, Leech Seed, any of those, you take damage. Situational. It can be useful though. The other Quillfish gets Merciless, which I would actually say is very good because its signature move Barb Barrage has a very high chance of poisoning. So I think it's always useful that it has Merciless. Not to mention also gets Toxic by level up and also Toxic Spikes. Yeah, this guy is a poisoning machine. And also it evolves into Overquill, and Overquill is actually really strong. So it's not OP, but it's always useful. Shuckle has well-baked body. So if you get hit with a fire move, it just raises your defense. I don't know if that's OP or not. Does Shuckle get body press? I mean, Shuckle isn't weak to fire, but I mean, oh my god, its hidden ability is contrary. How would well-baked body and contrary interact? Would it just drop its defenses? I don't think it learns body press by level up or anything, so it does get body press. It doesn't look like it does. I mean, it's nice to always have your defenses raised. I just don't think it's OP because Shuckle isn't really the strongest Pokemon. Heracross gets Quick Feet. So in conjunction with Guts, which is one of Heracross's ability, Quick Feet, 50% increase the speed when their status like poison, burn, paralysis, blah 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 blah. So Guts plus Quick Feet. I mean, it's basically like a choice scarf and a choice band. I would say it's always useful to have, even if there's no like consistent way to get Flame Orb and stuff. Heracross has a Mega. Any way to make Mega Heracross faster is welcome. Sneasel gets Moxie. Oh my god. I think that's OP. I think that is overpowered considering how fast Sneasel is, considering Mega Rayquaza, considering Eternatus. I mean, to be fair, I don't think it would necessarily be OP in the Eternatus battle, but against Mega Rayquaza, if you like get a few KOs, you're definitely just gonna one tap it. Not to mention, Sneasel also has Pickpocket, which is also an incredible ability in this game. It works like Magician. If you get hit, you steal an item. Obviously, Sneasel doesn't take very many hits, but Sneasel's that's insane. Hisuian Sneasel has Scrappy, which means fighting type moves can hit ghosts. I feel like that's very OP. Maybe more of an always useful to have. I mean, Sneasler is an insane Pokemon, so the fact that you can just close combat and not worry about potentially hitting a ghost is that's crazy. I'm not sure about it being OP, but it's insanely useful. Now Teddiursa has Gluttony. I mean, this isn't very good, but I mean, you have to understand this is on a Pokemon that evolves into Ursaluna, and Ursaluna is insane. But Gluttony will use a Pinch Berry when its HP drops to 50 rather than 25. So basically it just eats berries sooner. I mean, to be honest, in this game, considering how many berries you're gonna get and considering how slow Ursaluna is, maybe it is actually really good because you eat berries sooner, which means you get stat buff sooner, right? Pinch berries are like Biggie, Wiki, Mago. I'm pretty sure these are the stat buffs one, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I don't think the stat buffs one will count towards it, unfortunately. No, never mind. If a Pokemon holds on these berries, its defense will be boosted if it should find itself in a pinch. Okay, yeah, there is stat rate. I'm sorry, berries are like my least known. On second thoughts, I think that's actually kind of OP. Just on paper, I'm thinking about it. Imagine an Ursaluna getting to 50% health and then just getting all these buffs like defense. It's got like a citrus berry. It's got like a Ganlon berry, whatever. It just gets defense buffs. It gets its health back up to 75%. It can take another good hit. Ursaluna is slow. It needs to be able to take hits. So rather than waiting for it to go down to 25% to get those effects, getting them at 50%, I think is significant. Slugma gets Drought, which, I mean, significantly improves him. I don't know if it makes him OP. I wouldn't say so because Macargo just sucks, but Drought is always nice. Swinub gets Slush Rush. It's another one of those where it's good, but it's situational. You gotta have a hail on your side. Corsola gets Storm Drain, which, I mean, it's not weak to water or anything, but it's always nice to just be able to draw water in, you know? I'd say that significantly improves it, maybe? And nah, it's useful but situational. I think Corsola actually kind of just sucks, to be honest. Especially with the movesets in this game. The movesets aren't like the best in this game. If Corsola had access to like all of its like previous generation like movesets, then like maybe, but I think it's good, but the Pokemon sucks. I think that's actually where I lie with that. And then we've got the other Corsola with Shadow Tag. I mean, this thing is really good, usually with Eviolite, but there's no Eviolite in this game yet. I don't know if there ever will be. Shadow Tag is really good. I think it's evil, and it significantly improves the Pokemon, mostly if you're able to get Eviolite. But then there's Corsola with Shadow Tag Perish Body, which kind of just guarantees a kill. So maybe that's kind of OP. Corsola with Shadow Tag Perish Body, just guaranteeing a kill. You are obviously sacrificing a team member though, so I don't know, maybe it's just very good. Remoraid gets Skill Link, which means like a Bullet Seed and stuff like that hits 5 times. I think that is always useful, always nice to have that. Maybe it significantly improves the Pokemon. I mean, I guess Octillery does get Moody as well, so like Moody, Skill Link. It also gets Snipe Shot. Nope, that's not, nope, none of those moves matter with Skill Link. I guess Rock Blast and Bullet Seed, which is nice. I don't know if it's always useful. It significantly improves it. I think I'm happy with it being there. I don't think the Pokemon's like super OP. Delibird gets Prankster. I think it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. I don't think anything can really make Delibird good. We are gonna look for Mantike now. Mantike gets Storm Drain. Interesting. See, Mantine has improved a lot over the years. It gets like Roost and its stats have gone buff. Mantine usually gets Water Absorb, so I guess maybe you can... I wonder how that would work. Would Water Absorb and Storm Drain work together, or would only one of the effects? I wonder how that works, because I feel like you would just drop Water Absorb then, and your other abilities are Swift Swim and Water Veil. That's an interesting one. I don't know if it improves it. I feel like it's situational because I don't know how it interacts. I don't know if you get the special attack boost and the water absorb HP. If you get that, then I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon. I don't know though. It's one of these two. It's either significantly improves or useful or situational. Mantine's already pretty good though. Skarm gets Oblivious. Skarmory needs no introduction. Skarmory's already a very good Pokemon. Oblivious makes it so it's immune to gender-based moves and abilities, so like Attract, Cute Charm, and Captivate. I would say that it's not worth the investment to get Oblivious. I don't think it's personally. I mean, I don't know if Sam is trying to have like a Cute Charm meta going on. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be worth the investment because I feel like Skarmory is already quite a rare Pokemon as it is. So I don't know if I'd personally be grinding my way to get Cute Charm on it. Skarmory is a good Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. Skarmory is already good, but I wouldn't personally invest in the passive ability. Houndour gets Intimidate. Always good, especially because this thing has a Mega Evolution. I think that is always a useful ability to have. We already discussed Kingdra being insane. Stampede gets Rockhead. That means you can Head Smash without taking damage. I don't even know if this thing learns Head Smash. Oh, it does, but it's an egg move. It's not an egg move in this game though, so I don't know how it would learn it. Maybe by TM, unless they've added it to the learn moveset. I don't know. Not sure of any other recoil moves this thing gets, so I mean, Donphan's already a pretty good Pokemon. It doesn't need Rockhead to be good. I would say it's situational. Stantler gets Magic Guard, which again, like I discussed, means you only take damage from direct attacks. Stuff like Leech Seed and Poison and Burn doesn't take you down. Considering this thing evolves into Weirdeer, and Weirdeer is pretty good as it is, I would say that it's always useful, or maybe just significantly improves it. I don't think it's necessary. And it really is situational. Like, Weirdeer is a good Pokemon, but the ability is situational. That's what I'm going with. Smeargle has Trace. Oh my goodness. I don't think that really... I feel like the Pokemon still sucks. I feel like Smeargle sucks in this game. I feel like Smeargle is good in like VGC when it's like specifically calibrated. I feel like in this game it just sucks. So Miltank gets Gluttony, just like Teddiursa and them. I feel like because of just the nature of this game, I feel like it can significantly improve Miltank. Not that Miltank really needs much improving. I don't know if I'd necessarily go out my way to get it, but it's definitely good ability. In this game, I would wager. Now into the legendaries. Raikou gets Flare Boost. So if it's burned, its special attack gets raised. It's useful, but it's situational. Right now, there's not many situations where Raikou would be burned, in my opinion. If they add like the Flame Orb, then, you know, maybe it's going to go crazy. Entei gets Toxic Boost. So it powers up its physical attacks when it's poisoned. Again, very situational, but has the potential to go crazy if those items get added to the game. Suicune gets Speed Boost. Okay, that I think, like, even though Suicune's meant to be like a bulky guy, I think that's always useful. Maybe it's OP. Let me have a look. Imagine this thing's like Calm Minded up and it outspeeds you. I don't know, that's pretty OP to me. I think a Speed Boost Suicune's pretty OP. Usually what brings the Suicune down is the fact that it's slower and it's more bulky, so you break through its defenses. But if you don't get the chance to break through those defenses because it outspeeds you, I think that's OP. Larvitar gets Sand Force, in conjunction with Tyranitar just having Sand Stream. Sand Force, just straight up buffs your attack, I'm pretty sure. So like that is vile. Yeah. Raises the power of ground, steel, and rock moves by 30% during a sandstorm. That's just free extra damage on, I mean, it's only on 3 types and it is only by 30%, but I would say that that is OP, especially because rock is in there and it's stab and it's just free extra damage. It's just like a life orb or like nothing. And you also, he has a mega evolution. I think that's OP. Lugia gets Storm Drain. I mean, come on now, it's Lugia. I mean, I think I've just got to put it in OP. I feel like there's no debate there. Uh-oh, gets Flash Fire, which isn't quite as good. I guess it just eats fire. It already resisted that though. In terms of just the abilities, I think it's always useful to have. You know, I mean, we're doing this basically just about the passive. I think Storm Drain, Lugia, and honestly, they might just be more situational in terms, like I wouldn't like with legendary Pokemon, I wouldn't like try and go out of my way to get them unlocked because I don't think they're that crazy, you know. I'm trying to check myself and remember that I'm doing this based on like the passive ability and not just the Pokemon as well. Like, want to take both in consideration, of course. But Celebi gets Triage, which we've already discussed. This thing gets Synthesis, of course, and Healing Wish and Recover. Yep, Healing Wish is affected by Triage. Maybe I'm putting too much on that, but I mean, Celebi gets a bunch of healing moves. It should also get access to Giga Drain. It doesn't learn about level up, at least in terms of level up movesets. But personally, I think anything with Triage that gets significant healing moves, I think is pretty OP. Now, if it's actually worth trying to invest into Celebi for Triage, that's another question. Celebi's typing's not the best, but I think that's pretty OP. All right, moving on to Generation 3. Rico gets Grassy Surge. I mean, I'm going to just go ahead and say that that's OP. I mean, like Rillaboom, part of the reason why Rillaboom is insane is because it gets Grassy Surge. To be fair though, Rillaboom also gets, what's that move called? Grassy Glide. Yeah. I don't think Trico necessarily gets it, but I think Sceptile is pretty fast, especially Mega Sceptile too. Yeah, I think that's OP. Torchic gets Reckless, so like moves like High Jump Kick is powered up. Blow Blitz too. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that is very OP, especially because you can also have Speed Boost on Mega Blaziken. Yeah, that's just dumb. Reckless is very strong. I mean, it's not like huge power, but it's still like, it's gonna increase the damage that Mega Blaziken can output, which is already a lot. And Mudkip gets Regenerator. Oh my god. I think that's OP. Personally, I would totally go out my way for Regenerator Mudkip. It's only got 1 weakness and it's got Mega Evolution, and Regenerator is just a very good way to keep your Pokemon alive, especially in a game where you're resource managing. I think Regenerator is very valuable. Strong Jaw, Poochyena, a good ability, but it's I think unfortunately the Pokemon still sucks. Zigzagoon has Pickpocket, which is really funny because it also has Pickup. So like this thing's just an item fiend. I think this thing already has a gimmick of being like just the item guy. Unfortunately, it only goes as far as Lanoon. I think it's useful, but it's situational because I feel like after a while, you're not going to want a Lanoon on your team. I feel like you'd rather have something better that has Pickpocket. And then there's my favorite guy, Galarian Zigzagoon, who has Pickpocket as well. I think I'd rather have him because as an Obstagoon, he's not going to have Pickup anymore. So yeah, I think that's, in terms of PokeRogue, I think Pickpocket Obstagoon is OP because I may be biased, but I've had some really good success with Obstagoon. Playing against the AI and using his special protect move, it's nutty. Like I've had some very good success with Obstagoon. So the fact that it's a bulky Pokemon, it's got Pickpocket, yeah, it's very good. Wormpole gets Tinted Lens. Unfortunately, I think the Pokemon still sucks. I don't think any of these are really worth it. Their stats are too low. Lotad gets Drizzle. That is OP. Because it just immediately, just similar to Horsey, it just has Swift Swim set up immediately. Or Rain Dish, whatever you want, but Swift Swim's better. Seedot has Disguise, which is like Mimikyu's ability. I think that could significantly improve the Seedot line. Tailo has Keen Eye. Usually it just prevents accuracy drops, but I don't know if it does something special in PokeRogue. It prevents other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's accuracy. It doesn't seem to do anything special in PokeRogue, so Keen Eye Tailo, huh? Yeah, that's not worth the investment, in my opinion. You can definitely get your stats dropped in this game. Like you can get your accuracy dropped, but I don't think Swellow is worth it. I would rather spend time investing in another Pokemon. Wingull, Hydration. Okay, so built-in hydration, because Drizzle, Pelipper gets Drizzle, will cure status condition in the rain. I mean, it's situational. it's useful, but situational. Ralts gets Psychic Surge. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that that is OP, considering the fact that you can have Mega Gardevoir or Gallade. You've got options, and you're just gonna be buffing like psychic damage like that, and also you can't get Sucker Punched and just priority moves in general. Like Psychic Surge is just a very good ability to have in conjunction with your already existing abilities, like, you know, Pixelate, and it gets Telepathy, it gets Synchronize, it gets Trace, like any of those abilities plus Psychic Surge, like that's just nuts. Surskit gets Water Absorb, which is really nice for its evolution, Masquerain, but I think the Pokemon still sucks, unfortunately. Shroomish gets Guts, which, like I mentioned, if you've got a Poison Heal Breloom, I mean, right now there's no way to really invest in Poison Heal. Like, you can't just have a Toxic Orb, it's not in the game yet. But if it is, then I think it's always useful to have if you're running Poison Heal. You know, Poison Heal and Guts just at the same time, like that's insane. But as for now, I would say it's situational, but it's definitely like way better if Toxic Orbs become a thing. Slackoth gets Guts. Same situation. I think it's useful but situational. In the regards of slacking though, it's probably not really going to make slacking much better. And Kata gets Overcoat, which means it can't be hit by like powder moves, I believe. Oh, it can't be hit with weather, so Sandstorm doesn't kill Shedinja. I mean, I don't think that's like OP or anything. I think that's residual damage from the weather. Yeah, that's it. I thought it was powder moves too. Maybe, oh, it does. Doesn't get affected by powders and spore, so like it doesn't get like poison powder. I mean, you can still kill it with like leech seed and toxic and just super effective damage. I think it does significantly improve it though, but it's not like it's too situational. I think Whismur gets Punk Rock, which means like, you know, all of its sound moves, which it gets Torch Song, it gets Boom Burst, it gets Sparkling Aria, like all of its moves are pretty much sound moves. All of its good moves it's going to use, they just get buffed. And I think this significantly improves the Pokemon. It's not broken, but it's pretty good. Makuhita gets Stamina, which I would wager is OP. Any Pokemon that just gets free defense buffs for existing and taking hits, I think that's OP. I think that's a huge improvement to Hariyama, considering you can also have like Thick Fat and other things on top of its abilities. Nosepass gets Levitate, which means it no longer has a 4x weakness to ground as a Probopass. I think it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks ultimately. I don't think Probopass is really redeemable. Skitty gets Scrappy. So in conjunction with Normalize, I mean, I think honestly the Pokemon still sucks, but that's really cool because it means you can have Normalize, and which, you know, increases your damage of normal moves, and also the ghosts can't evade them. That's pretty good. But let's be real, Dalcatty's not very strong. It's 65 base attack. Yeah, that's not really, so not really putting in work. So Sableye gets a Nerve, which I mean, I would argue is OP because it stops the opponent from eating berries. I think berries are a huge part of this game. So and also he has a Mega. Mawile gets Mold Breaker, so it's basically kind of like a Tinkaton, which is funny because I'll explain later why. I think Mawile with Mold Breaker though is I don't think it's good, but it's always useful. And that's about it. Aaron gets Solid Rock, which means it takes less damage, and as a Mega Aggron with Filter, it means it even takes even less damage. So Solid Rock and Filter. I mean, what weaknesses does it have? Fire, Fighting, and Ground. So yeah, they do neutral damage to him, it seems. Fire, Fighting, and Ground. Wait, so does it just have no weaknesses then? Am I or is it just like that does neutral damage, right? Filter, Mega Aggron, and Solid Rock. I think that if I'm thinking that correctly, if that turns like no, I don't think it does make them. Okay, so I think so. Filter just 25%, so it'll make it so they are half super effective. So like Fire, Fighting, and Ground are still super effective, but it's half as super effective, if that makes sense, I believe. So they'll do 50%, 150% instead of, I could be wrong. Either way, I feel like that's kind of OP because I feel like Mega Aggron, its special defense is like 80. It's not that bad. I feel like that could genuinely be like kind of troublesome. Meditite gets Own Tempo, prevents confusion, and also can't be affected by Intimidate. I don't think it really has anything that would confuse it. So I'm just gonna say it's maybe not worth the investment. I mean, like if you've got the time, then sure, go ahead and grab it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get an Own Tempo Medicham. Unless I'm missing something. Like Intimidate, it's nice to be immune to Intimidate. It's situational. You know, it's you know, it can be useful, but it's situational. It's just because it's on a decent Pokemon. Electric has Speed Boost, which Mega Manectric has Intimidate plus Speed Boost. I mean, I don't know if I would call it OP though. It's already a really fast Pokemon, so I wouldn't personally say it's OP, but it is very useful. Always useful. Fossil gets minus and mine gets plus. So for anyone who doesn't know, up special attack have another Pokemon as plus or minus. So basically it just gets special attack boosts from itself by the looks of it. I still think it's maybe in the tier of it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks, despite some crazy moves like Plusle gets flamethrower and stuff like that. Plusle gets some amazing moves, but I just don't think it's that good, unfortunately. I mean, if you want to use it for fun though, then that could be very fun. Volbeat gets Tinted Lens. I mean, Volbeat's just in the same camp of it's just not a good Pokemon, unfortunately. Illumise gets Swarm. Yeah, same scenario. It just sucks. Paldea has Cute Charm. I would say that's not worth the investment personally, but if there's suddenly an uprising of Cute Charm Pokemon, then maybe it will be. Gulpin gets Poison Touch. I mean, Swallow has Liquid Ooze, Sticky Hold, Gluttony. I don't think Poison Touch saves it. I think it sucks, and I don't think Poison Touch is really going to help it. Carvanha gets Stakeout. Ooh. The enemy does actually switch a lot, so I would actually say Stakeout is phenomenal on Carvanha, especially because of Mega Sharpedo. I would maybe say that that's kind of OP. Just knowing how much currently the enemy switches, Stakeout doubles the damage dealt to the target's replacement if it switches out. So if they switch out to try and go into a resist, I think it might just kill straight up. Like Mega Sharpedo might just kill. Whalmer gets Levitate. Okay, I mean, fitting. I would wager that Wailord still sucks though, and is probably not worth your time, but that's just me. Numel gets Turbo Blaze. Yeah, it's good ability, but the Pokemon sucks. Even with Mega Camerupt, maybe we put it in useful but situational just because it has a Mega. Mega Pokemon are very strong, guys. Torkoal apparently gets Photosynthesis, and since its normal ability is Drought, people have been calling it OP because I think it just gets a free defense buff pretty much. I would say it's always useful. I don't know if it's OP. Spoink gets Psychic Surge, which is I mean, it's on a Grumpig, but so I would say it significantly improves him, but I don't know if I'd be using one personally, unless Spoink is the only thing you can get your hands on for a Psychic terrain user. Spinda has Simple, which is pretty good because it gets Contrary as well, and also like Superpower. I would say, I would wager that it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks because you still have to like get that attack off to like get things moving. It doesn't even learn like Superpower by level up though, which is kind of dire. So yeah, I think that's a fair placement. It has potential though. Trapinch has Adaptability. Ooh, that is nice. I would say that is just always useful to have. Like you're just always doing more damage. And Flagon doesn't have a Mega. Cacnea gets Sandrush. It could have Sandrush and Sandveil at the same time. It just needs a sand user, so it's definitely a good ability, but it's situational. Blue gets White Smoke, which means its stats can't be dropped, I'm pretty sure. Yep, cannot have its stats dropped. That, considering Mega Altaria, I would say is always useful. I don't know if it's OP. It's always nice to not be able to get your stats dropped, but it's not OP, I would say. Zangoose gets Super Luck in conjunction with like Slash. It's got like a 50% chance crit move pretty much, which, I mean, if you're going to use Zangoose, would significantly improve him. I think constant slash crits, or well, you know, 50% slash crits for nothing pretty much. Seviper has Moldbreaker. Unfortunately, I think Seviper sucks a bit too much for that to even be useful, but it is a good ability. Solrock and Lunatone. Solrock gets Drought. Lunatone gets Fairy Aura. That's really different. Fairy Aura makes it so fairy type moves are raised by 33% power for all Pokemon on the field, not just the ability bearer. It's the signature ability of Xerneas. So just a fairy ally. It gets Moonblast obviously by Egg Move, so like that's nice. It just gets a little bit of buff to its Moonblast. I think it can be useful but situational. I don't even know, I feel like Lunatone just sucks a bit too much. But then there's Drought on Solrock, which is nice because it actually protects it a little bit. I'd say it significantly improves Solrock. It protects it from water damage, and it also gets some nice power behind its Flare Blitz. Barboach gets Ball Fetch, which again, I don't really know how that works. I would say it's probably not worth your investment right now because I don't know how Ball Fetch works. If it gives you every single ball back, then maybe. But Corphish gets Tough Claws, which I mean, if you already know, Crawdon's already an insane Pokemon. I feel like Tough Claws adaptability Crawdon is kind of overpowered. Maybe not so much in like the same way of like a Mewtwo, but I would definitely make sure I got Tough Claws on him if I could help it. Baltoy gets Own Tempo. Again, I guess a confusion prevention. I don't think it's worth the investment personally. Lily gets Water Absorb, which again, another Water Absorb Storm Drain situation. I mean, I can only imagine that Water Absorb and Storm Drain must work together. And if that's the case, I would say it significantly improves. And I guess the same would go for Mantike. I think it's more so the case for Lileep though, because Lileep doesn't already resist water. Anorith also gets water absorb. Oh my god. Wow, that is actually always useful. It's weak to water, so that just significantly improves it in that regard. Feebas gets Pastel Veil. I forget what that does. Pastel Veil prevents Pokemon teammates from being poisoned. Also cures them from... Yeah, no, that is not worth the investment. Not worth spending your hours getting a Feebas. Just let it happen naturally. If you just so happen to get enough Feebas candy, then, you know, by all means, I think lowering the cost of bringing a Feebas would be better. Castform gets adaptability, which is actually pretty good. But I think it's just a little... It's not... It's on a cast form, guys. Kecleon also gets adaptability. And Kecleon has protein, actually. So, I feel like that would significantly improve Kecleon. It's not OP, but adaptability and protein, if they work in conjunction, then that's insane. Shuppet gets Mummy. I feel like it's a situational ability, but it could definitely be quirky to have on Megabanet. I feel like it doesn't hurt to have it. I don't know if I'd go out my way to get it, but it's definitely decent. Duskull gets a Nerve. Again, as I've said time and time again, just having the ability to stop them from eating berries is always good. I don't think Dusk Noir is that good of a Pokemon to like capitalize on that, but it is always good to have a Nerve. Tropius gets Kudchu. I just unfortunately think it's too little too late. I don't think Tropius would be saved by Kudchu. Chimecho, oh yeah, Chingling gets Victory Star, which boosts the accuracy of its allies and itself. I mean, I think that's pretty good. Just having your accuracy buff is good, but I don't know if it would be worth having a Chingling on your team. So I'm going to say it's good, but the Pokemon sucks. Absol, Dark Aura. I mean, it gets a Mega. Dark Aura just buffs Dark type moves by 33%, I believe. I will say that's always useful. I mean, I'm like teetering on it being OP because Mega Absol is kind of nuts. Yeah, Dark Aura powers up Dark type moves like 33%. Mega Absol has Magic Bounce, 150 base power, 115 speed. I think that's maybe a little OP, actually, a little OP. Snorunt gets Snow Warning, which means it can activate its own Ice Body if it wants to. But I mean, to be fair, in the hail or the snow rather, your ice type's defense is up by 50%, and he's got a Mega Evolution. He also has Frostlass. Pretty versatile, honestly, and I think just having a weather setter is really good. Also, Frostlass has Snow Cloak. I would say that it is always useful. I don't know if it's OP, but I think it's always useful to have Snow Warning on a Snorunt. Slush Rush on Spiel. It's a situational moment. Clamperl gets Simple. Simple Shell Smash. Oof. Definitely significantly improves those Pokemon. Relicanth gets Solid Rock. I think that is going to significantly improve him. Any less damage to be taken is always a good thing. Lovedisc gets Pickup. It's just another one of those unknown type beat where it's just too bad of a Pokemon for it to be worth your time, honestly. Bagon gets Berserk. I mean, to be fair though, Mega Salamence is actually pretty decent as a special attacker, considering the fact it gets Aerialate and Hyper Voice and stuff. VGC, it's a really good special attacker, so I mean, I would go to say that that's maybe OP. Like, if you ever just have your special dropped, or your stat, if you ever just have your HP dropped below half, and you just gain free special attack, I think that's kind of OP, especially because it's on a Mega. Beldum gets Iron Fist. Meteor Mash counts as an Iron Fist move, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's OP. Makes Meteor Mash close combat damage, plus there's a chance of it raising your attack, plus it's on a Tough Claws Mega Metagross. Yeah, that's OP. Then we got the Reggies. Regirock has Regenerator, which I think is always good to have. Maybe it's OP, I'm not sure. Maybe if it was on a... I mean, any way to keep your Pokemon's health alive is really good. I would say it's OP. Regice gets Ice Scales, which boosts special defense, as if Reggie's Ice's special defense isn't already bad enough. I think that's pretty OP for an effect. I don't know if it's like gonna make Regice the best Pokemon ever, but... And then Registeel gets Steely Spirit, which boosts steel type damage. It's very, very strong. It makes Registeel very, very strong. I'm like debating about if these guys should be very OP or if they should be always useful. I'm gonna just put them in OP for now. I think those are pretty OP abilities. Latias and Latios both get Serene Grace. I mean, higher chance of having special defense dropped by like Psychic, and you know, you can actually run Mega Latios physically. You can run him like physically mixed or whatever, give him Zen Headbutt, higher chance to flinch. They also learn Dragon Breath if you want to be cheeky. I think Serene Grace on them is actually pretty significant. I'm gonna say it's OP, especially because they get megas. Kyogre gets hydration, which just basically makes it so it can be status. I personally, it's situational. Useful but situational. Groudon gets Leaf Guard. I think that's like similar, right? Prevents a bear from succumbing to major status elements. Yeah, so it just can't be status. I mean, I think that's actually, I mean, it's situational, but I feel like especially with primal forms, it's pretty good. Maybe it significantly improves them, to be honest, because if you can't be status, you just got to take them down by raw power, and their abilities are permanent. And there's Rayquaza with steadfast, which means if it flinches, it gets a speed buff. So I personally think that is useful but situational. Jirachi has comatose, which means it's basically acting as if it's sleeping all the time, so you cannot put it to sleep. So certain things, like you can just use sleep talk without being asleep. You can't be, you know, double slap. Wake up slap does double damage though. Oh yeah, the big part of it is it cannot be inflicted by sleep, poison, paralysis, burn, or freeze. Yeah, you can't burn it basically, or paralyze it, which is like two huge ways to nerf Jirachi, because you want to paralyze it so it isn't faster than you, so it stops flinching you, but you can't do that now because of comatose. I would say that that's OP, to be honest. The fact you can't burn it or paralyze it, you kind of just have to hope that you're faster and kill it. I think that's OP. Deoxys has sticky hold, so its items can't be taken or switched. I mean, I think that's too situational for me personally, but it can definitely have a use in this game because there's a lot of Pokemon with, like, you know, beef and stuff like that. All right, on to generation 4. We have Turtwig with Harvest. Harvest is really good, especially in a game where berries are kind of everywhere. And the fact that like nowadays this guy gets Shell Smash, yeah, I think Harvest might be kind of crazy, to be honest, on Turtwig. I think that has a lot of potential, I'm not gonna lie. Like imagine he just keeps harvesting like berries that buff his stats or heal him, or you know what or whatnot, right? He also has Shell Armor, so he can't be crit. Yeah, that thing could be a monster. I'm gonna say that that's OP. Chimchar gets Defiant. Defiant is pretty good. I would say it's always useful to have. Piplup gets Slush Rush. Situational. I think unless the Pokemon can set up itself. Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't know where I dropped Piplup. Okay, found it. It's situational. Unless the Pokemon, like unless Piplup had like Snow Warning and Slush Rush at the same time, like I think it's just a situational ability, unfortunately. It could definitely be good though. Starly gets Rockhead, which means moves that do recoil and stuff like that don't take damage, so Brave Bird. And also naturally Staraptor gets Reckless, so Rockhead Reckless in conjunction with each other, I think that's very useful. Always useful, actually. Double-edged Brave Bird going crazy. Bidoof gets Neuroforce. Neuroforce makes it so it powers up moves that are super effective, which is pretty damn good, honestly. I will say that it would significantly improve the Pokemon. Kricketot has Soundproof. It's not worth the investment. Well, it's the Pokemon sucks. Shinx has Volt Absorb. It's situational. I'm tempted to put it in like the Pokemon sucks, but Luxray is not as bad as all those other Pokemon. Oh yeah, we already talked about Budew. I forgot to go grab it. Not worth the investment. Pranados has Rockhead. Them Head Smash is going to be Bussin with no recoil. I think that's always useful for him to have. Shieldon has Solid Rock. I think it's good, but I honestly think Bastiodon just kind of sucks. So I think I'm just going to put it in that it sucks. Burmy gets Sturdy. Yeah, we don't care. This Pokemon sucks. It's not worth your time. I mean, I guess I can see that maybe Mothim could take a Sturdy and then get like Quiver Dance off, but I think he sucks. Combee gets Queenly Majesty. So unfortunately I think it's still just in the same camp of it sucks and it's probably not worth your time. Pachirisu gets Ball Fetch. Not worth the investment in my opinion. Weasel gets Hydration. Situational. I personally wouldn't invest. I personally would invest into it, because you don't really even have a consistent way to set up rain. But I don't know, I guess if it's a part of a team, then I don't know, situational. Cherubi gets Drought, which means it can constantly swap between its form, but I honestly just don't think Cherum's good at all. Yeah, like even in its other form has the same stats. Flower Gift just lets it swap. I know Flower Gift raises allies attack and special defense of all the party members during harsh sunlight. I still think it's not worth the investment, to be honest. Shellos gets Shell Armor. Basically means it can't be crit. I think that's always good to have. Crits are annoying. Drifloon gets Pickpocket. Pickpocket is very good in this game, so I'm gonna say it's always useful. Baniri gets Oblivious. I mean, like thematically it's fitting because it prevents attraction or whatever, but I think you can't be taunted, you can't be intimidated. It's situational. The Pokemon's good, but the ability is situational. Glameow gets pickup, which is pretty good actually in this game. I would say it would significantly improve the Pokemon. Stunky gets Merciless. It also gets Dire Claw. It learns Toxic by level up 2. So it's got a consistent way to poison. It also gets Venoshock. Venoshock Merciless. I would say significantly improves him. I don't think it necessarily makes him like OP, but it makes him pretty good. Bronzor gets Soundproof. I mean, sound moves, there's plenty of them now, but I just situational. Oh yeah, I put Sudowoodo up there instead of Bonsly, my bad. Sorry for being inconsistent. Chatot gets Punk Rock. I mean, its speed is like decent, special attacks decent, everything else is frail. I would say it would significantly improve Chatot, but like that's also in conjunction with the egg moves that it gets. Spiritomb gets Regenerator. That is always useful. Always useful. Gible gets Sandstream. That's just a situational moment. That could genuinely be dangerous though. Like with Mega Garchomp, Sandstream Mega Garchomp, and Sandforce, I think it gets genuinely dangerous. Riolu gets Mega Launcher, which is very good because it learns like Aura Sphere. So I'm gonna say that would be always useful to have if you want to run a special Lucario, especially Mega Lucario. Maybe it's OP. Yeah, it turns Aura Sphere into like close combat damage. It has adaptability. Maybe it's OP. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in OP for now. I think it gets Dark Pulse maybe. I think Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, Aura Sphere. Those are the moves that it gets. Honestly, just worth it for Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere adaptability. That's crazy. Hippo gets Sandveil. That's honestly like significant improvement. Just constantly dodging attacks for free pretty much because it has Sandstream. Skorupi with Super Luck. Hold on, that's significant because Skorupi naturally has Sniper and it has Night Slash as well. So it's like 50% chance to, I think. Oh wait, no, hold on. Oh wait, yeah. Well, plus Sniper? Oh wait, that's really good. So crit damage deals 2.25 instead of 1.5 damage. I think this might make him a little OP. 50% chance to have 2.25 Night Slashes because Night Slash has an increased chance of critting. Super Lock makes it an increased chance of critting. I think Cross Poison does too, right? So like that's 2 stabs as well. If it gets Cross Poison. Yeah. I mean, I think that's maybe it's just always good, but I think it might be a little OP. Croagunk gets Pickpocket, which as I've explained before, is a very good ability in this game. I would say it's always useful to have. Carnivine gets Effect Spore. I think the Pokemon still sucks. I don't think it's worth it. Finneon gets Drizzle. Pretty significant. I would say it significantly improves it. I don't know if it really does much else than that though. I mean, does it get Swift Swim? Finneon does get Swift Swim. But you know what? Maybe. I mean, the damage output though, I think I'll leave it in significantly improves. I don't think it really does much else beyond that. Snover gets Snow Cloak. So it basically just makes its accuracy really annoying constantly. I would say that significantly improves it, especially because it has a Mega. Honestly, considering the fact that it has a Mega, it might just always be good. Crazy part about Gen 4 is that we've literally already discussed all of these Pokemon potentially because of their pre-evolutions, so we can just get right past them. Forgot how many Pokemon evolved in Gen 4, goddamn. And then go right to Rotom. Rotom has Motor Drive. I think that's just always good to have. Rotom's a very good Pokemon, and just the ability to potentially get Speed Boost is never gonna pass that up, are we? Especially on something like Rotom Wash, where it's neutral against electric. Motor Drive gets rid of that weakness, which is just buffs Rotom Wash pretty much, and also Rotom Fan. Uxie gets Illusion. Okay, so it's like hold on, what about Zelf? Neuroforce. Oh my god, dude. Okay, first of all, Uxie with Illusion. I mean, it depends how the AI interacts with it. I think it's situational, but it could be useful. Mesprit gets Moody, which has potential. I would say it maybe significantly improves Mesprit. And as Elf, like I said, with Neuroforce, super effective moves are just doing more damage. Honestly, might be a little OP because Elf's already really good. Dialga with Speed Boost. Oh my god, dude. I mean, if Suicune's OP with Speed Boost, Dialga's going to be OP with Speed Boost. Palkia gets Magic Bounce. These guys also have Origin forms, by the way. Palkia with Magic Bounce. I think with Magic Bounce is a very good ability. I would say it's always useful. Maybe it's OP, but I'll put in always useful for now. Heatran gets Rough Skin, which again, Heatran's like he's a nice wall. I think Rough Skin's always useful on him. Regigigas gets Iron Fist. Unfortunately, I think Regigigas just sucks too much to where it's even worth investing in Iron Fist, but maybe it's a little better because like for 5 floors in Endless, you can not be slow started, but I don't know. Shadow Tag Jortina, considering how much the AI likes to switch, I would say that at the very least, that's always useful. Jortina's like the strongest Pokemon in the world, so it's not like you're one-shotting things with Shadow Tag, but it's at least always useful. Cresselia with Magic Bounce. I think considering Cresselia is a bulky mess that likes to set up I would say that Magic Bounce is OP on it. I feel like Palkia, it's less OP because Palkia is a bit more of a fast offensive attacker, but Celia with Magic Bounce, that's kind of gross. Fion with Swift Swim. I think Fion just sucks too much to be worth the investment. Manaphy with Simple. Oh my god. So is it just +6 Tail Glow immediately? Yeah, that's OP. Darkrai with a nerve. I think anybody that stops you from eating berries is very OP. Maybe not anybody, depends on the mon, but it's definitely very good in Darkrai. Shaman gets Flower Veil. Prevents ally grass types from being stats from being lowered. That's very disappointing. Personally, I think that's situational though. Arceus gets adaptability, which is insane, especially alongside the plates. I would say that that's pretty OP. All right, here we are finally on Generation 5. Victini gets Super Luck, which is very fitting, in my opinion. I would say it's situational though. I feel like a lot of legendaries are really situational because like actually getting enough of them to, I mean, unless there's an event that PokeRogue hosts. Snivy has multi-scale. Considering grass types have a fair few weaknesses, I think this is pretty good, and it allows you to take a hit and get a good special attack buff because Superior doesn't have the best offensive stats. I would say that's always useful. I mean, I feel like it might be a little OP. Let you take a hit and get some Leaf Storms. I mean, Superior is relatively fast, so I feel like the potential is there. Tepig has Sand Rush. Yeah, that's another, I mean, I think you guys get the idea at this point. That's useful but situational. I think Sand Rush should make it so it doesn't get hit by Sandstorm at least, which is kind of nice. Now with Oshawott, we have to take into consideration the alternative form, Mold Breaker. I mean, I think Mold Breaker is like a nice safe ability. I'm trying to think if there's like anything in particular that Mold Breaker would allow for with Oshawott. I mean, I think it's always just nice to have. Yeah, Mold Breaker would allow it to go through like Water Absorb and Storm Drain and stuff like that, I believe. Let me just double check that before I spread misinformation. Yeah, Storm Drain, Water Absorb. Okay, yeah, I think that's always useful to have. I don't know if it's OP, but it's definitely useful. Patrat has Stakeout. I don't even know what Patrat normally does, to be honest. Yeah, Analytic Stakeout. I mean, that could definitely do some serious damage, but I would say that the Pokemon still sucks and it's probably not worth the investment for the most part. Lillipup has Ball Fetch, which I personally, I would say not worth the investment because, I mean, it doesn't do anything right now. And also, if it's based on the mechanics of the main games, I don't know if it's going to be worth bringing a Lillipup just for Ball Fetch. Maybe it'll be fun if you're doing like a mono normal type run or something, who knows. Purloin has Defiant. Typically, Liepard gets like Prankster and stuff. Yeah, Limber, Unburden, Prankster. I mean, Unburden, Defiant, I don't know. It could go crazy, but it's situational. I wouldn't say Liepard's a bad Pokemon by any stretch. Liepard's actually pretty decent. All right, we're on to the Pan Monkeys. Storm Drain, Sapsipper, Flash Fire, respectively. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I think the Pokemon still suck. Nasty Plot, Aura Sphere, Freeze Dry, Hydro Cannon. They do learn some pretty crazy moves now, but I think for the most part, these monkeys, they're I don't know. I think they suck, despite the abilities. They're very thematically, like they're very well thematically, but I don't think it's going to save them. Mona gets Neutralizing Gas, which is that's actually if Neutralizing Gas affects passives, then I think that's really good. I would say that significantly improves Mona. P-Dove gets Opportunist. Wow, I think Opportunist is really good. I would say that significantly improves P-Dove as well. I don't know if P-Dove would necessarily be worth running with Opportunist, because at the end of the day, it is a normal flying type, and I mean, it has Super Luck, Rivalry, Big Peck. Its abilities aren't anything crazy, but its speed isn't too bad. I think it definitely could do some damage with Opportunist. Blitzel has Flare Boost. Again, there's not much use with Flare Boost right now, so it's definitely situational, but I think if like Flame Orb becomes an item, it would significantly improve it. That double special attack buff is very nice. Roggenrola with Solid Rock. I think having your defenses be a bit bulkier is always good. I would say significantly improves, considering this thing also gets Sandstream. Solid Rock plus Sandstream. I mean, it's honestly, it's always useful. I think a Sand Setter, considering how many Pokemon are getting like Sand Rush and stuff like that and Sand Force because of the passives, I think Weather is gonna be nice to have. So I think having your Weather Setter take less damage is always useful. Woobat gets Soul Heart. Oh my goodness, that is okay. Let's just think. Okay, so Soul Heart, it's like Moxie for special attackers, but all that has to happen is a Pokemon has to just die in your vicinity. You don't have to be the one to take it out. Sandstorm can take it out. If you're doing a double battle, the buddy next to you can take it out. Even if your buddy next to you gets taken out, that gets a buff. So that let's just think about that for a second. Swoobat naturally has relatively bad special attack. It's 77 base, but its speed is really good. I think Soul Heart, I mean, it's just always good to have on this thing. I'm not sure I can call it OP. I mean, it definitely has potential to be OP, but Woobat is so frail. The thing that is crazy though, in conjunction with Soul Heart, this Pokemon gets Simple as a hidden ability, which doubles the boosts that it would get. So with that in mind, it definitely has the potential to be OP. It does, especially because this thing, I think this thing's whole gimmick is like stored power, to be honest. I don't know if it actually learns it in this game. That's a weird one. It might detour between OP. They gave Drillbur Sandstream. That is going straight to like the top of OP. That is bizarre. I wouldn't be surprised if that got changed. For anyone that doesn't know, Drillbur, Excadrill, their whole shtick is that they have Sandstream and they're very OP with Sandstream. They have Sandrush, very OP with Sandrush. So the fact that they just straight up gave them the ability to set up their own sand and just immediately be OP is vile. Audino has Serene Grace, which I think is pretty good, especially because Audino can Mega Evolve. I would say that's always useful because Audino gets a lot of moves that can make use of that too. And once you Mega, it's permanent. So Timber has Stamina. Oh my goodness. I mean, I think that's OP. Conkeldurr is already a force to be reckoned with. I think throwing Stamina in there is ridiculous. This guy has Moody, unless it's changed. Let me double check. Yeah, this thing's got Moody. I think that significantly improves it, but I don't think it necessarily makes it like OP or anything. Moody's like a double-edged sword. Throw has Simple. Oh my god, okay. Simple with Bulk Up. I think that can get out of hand really fast. This Throw is already a good Pokemon, so that's always useful. Sawk has Defiant. I think it's a little more situational, but I think it does significantly improve him. Maybe I'm just underestimating Defiant, but I'm just trying to think of like how many times you get your stats dropped versus how often you can just set up bulk ups, you know, against the opponent. So Waddle has Sharpness. I imagine like Leaf Blade would be a big part of that. I'm not actually sure of other moves it learns besides Leaf Blade that is affected by Sharpness, but I think that's good enough to make it significantly improved. That's just an extra 50% damage on your Leaf Blades. Venipede gets Intimidate. That is just always nice to have. Especially, I mean, this is a speed boost Pokemon as well. I think that's always useful. Connie gets Misty Surge, which, I mean, we don't actually have that many Misty Surge setters. So I'm going to say that that is always useful to have. I'm trying to think of what is Misty Surge. It sets up, let me see if there's any downsides to Misty Surge being on your team. Misty Surge turns it into a Misty Terrain. Misty Terrain, low-lying mist lasting 5 turns. It protects all grounded Pokemon from stats conditions, including confusion. Also halves the power of dragon moves. And yeah. So I think that is good. Petlil has Drought. Oh my days. Oh my stars. Is that OP? Hold on. Lilligant has Chlorophyll, obviously, and Leaf Guard. Lilligant's speed would be out of this world. Lilligant can also just spam Solar Beam at that point. Its Hisuian form also has Chlorophyll and can just spam Solar Blade at that point. The downside is that it's extra weak to fire now, but yeah, I think that's pretty OP, just considering what mon it's on. But maybe their damage output is maybe their damage output's not the best, and like the best way that they can get their damage output higher is by like setting up quiver dances. I'll put it in always useful for now, but it definitely could be OP. Basculin has Opportunist, which is it just, there's only, okay, every Basculin has Opportunist. All right, we're gonna handle the one that can actually evolve. So that would mean Basculegion would evolve to have Opportunist. I'm gonna say that that's very OP. I think the Opportunist in this game is a very good ability. Sandile is already a phenomenal Pokemon, so let's see, Sandile has Strong Jaw. That just buffs his crunches. I mean, I think that's just always good to have. I don't know if it's OP. I think Sandile's also already very good with Moxie, especially in Endless mode. Darumaka has Iron Fist. I think typically they like running Flare Blitz, so I think giving them the option to not run Flare Blitz is nice. Fire Punch becomes a 90 power move instead of a 70 power move. So it's like, it's going to be doing a little bit less damage, but you have to keep in mind it does have like sheer force and stuff like that naturally. So I think it's situational, because like you might just not, it also buffs Hammer Arm, but then you're also dropping your speed with Hammer Arm. Let's see, what else? You get Drain Punch, Thunder Punch. I mean, this thing gets Drain Punch. So if you want to run Drain Punch, it gets that buff to that. I mean, the typical moveset for Darmanitan's like Flare Blitz, Earthquake, Superpower, U-Turn. That's as far as I'm aware. That's when I played Pokemon. It was that. So like, I mean, I guess you could obviously change things up. Like if you want to be like a bulkier, well, not bulky, if you want to be like a more surviving Darmanitan, you can run Drain Punch instead of Superpower. You can run Fire Punch instead of Flare Blitz. I think it's situational. I feel like for Darmanitan, you do want it to just go crazy. but it definitely has its potential uses. Galarian Darumaka has Flash Fire, which means that it cannot be hit by fire type moves, which I mean, it's not weak to, it's neutral to, but I think anything that allows you to just send the Pokemon in is always useful. I mean, depends on the Pokemon, obviously, but the fact it's also is a nice fire type, it can get better, it can get buffs off of Flash Fire. For example, like Storm Drain and stuff like that on these guys, like yeah, the Storm Drain and stuff like that's a good ability, but the Pokemon still suck, so like it doesn't really help. Maractus gets Iron Barbs. I mean, I think you should have just gave it huge power, to be honest, but Iron Barbs, plus it gets Spiky Shield. I mean, one of my first runs with this game, I had a Maractus that was doing really, really well for me. I think it significantly improves Maractus. Maybe it's my bias here. I think Maractus learns a lot of really cool moves that it can actually make use of, and is pretty good in that regard. Pretty versatile for a pure grass type. And I think having the ability to just hurt them if they're hurting you is with Spiky Shield plus Iron Barbs is pretty nice. Stamina Dwebble, Jesus Christ. Okay, this thing gets Body Press, I'm pretty sure, usually. I could be wrong. I'd say that's always useful. And onto these guys kind of got shafted, not gonna lie, they got Rockhead. I think thematically it makes sense. These guys are all about smacking people with their heads, so Rockhead allows them to like use head smash without recoil. Personally, don't really care for head smashing Scraggy. I would maybe put it in the same boat as Darumaka, where it's like it's situational, depends if you want to run that moves, but it could definitely be useful. Sigilyph gets Magician, which in this game is absolutely bonkers, so I would say that it is always useful. I don't know if it's OP, but it's always useful to have a Magician Pokemon, and Sigilyph getting the option to do that is very nice. Mask has Good as Gold. Oh my god. Okay, let's think about that. Yeah, that's OP. I'm sorry, that is very OP. I mean, it's like it makes sense on him, but considering how bulky Cofagrigus is naturally, I think giving it the ability to not be statused is taking away people's big way of taking that Pokemon out. So that's OP. Galarian Yamask has Solid Rock, which is a little less OP, but I still think it's always good to have. Tortuga has Shell Armor, which means it can't be crit. I think that's just always nice to have. Tortuga can be a pretty OP Pokemon with Shell Smash, so pretty nice. What are they gonna do to Archon? Archon has Rocky Payload, and that's very good. I wouldn't say it's OP because obviously Defeatist is a thing, but that's always useful to have because it gives you just extra damage on your rock moves. Rock is a very good offensive type. I honestly forgot that Trubbish got a G-Max form. It's got Gooey. I mean, to be honest, Garbodor's not the slowest Pokemon in the world. I mean, I don't know what the G-Max form speed is. Oh, G-Max Garbodor has 65 speed. That's a usable speed stat. I think that's always good to have Gooey on this guy. I think that works, especially because it's a G-Max. I don't want to use one now. Zorua has Adaptability. Oh my god. Always useful. I'm debating on calling it OP, but I would say it's always useful. The other Zorua has Dark Aura. So it basically buffs its dark type moves because obviously it comes from being a dark type, so it learns a lot of dark type moves naturally. So that's nice that it buffs its dark type moves. It gives like a little life orb effect to its dark type moves, but it also makes you weaker to dark, but it's also very frail already. This is a very weird one. I don't know if it, I mean, I think it's useful. I don't know if you even want to run dark type moves on this guy. I mean, I guess for other Zoruas maybe. I would say it's situational, especially because it can make you even weaker to dark, which I mean, you're probably gonna get one tapped anyway because you are a Zorua, but Mincino has Scrappy, which is I mean, just trying to switch in on that's always good to have. Trying to send a ghost type in against Tail Slap and you just die because it's got Scrappy. Gothita with Pressure. I would think that would significant. I mean, that's always useful to have, honestly. Gothita is a really good Pokemon, or Gothitelle is, and just having like in a game like this where you can just PP stall the opponent out of its moves, that's always good. Solosis has Gooey. I think it's situational. I don't think you're really gonna, I mean, you could outspeed something after like a couple Gooey drops for sure, but it's definitely situational. You're not going to be trying to do that, in my opinion. That's not going to be your strategy. It's just going to be like a side effect. Ducklet has Gale Wings. I think that significantly improves Ducklet. I'm not sure. I mean, it's always useful to have, but I don't know if it's going to make Ducklet like OP or anything. Vanilla gets Refrigerate. I'm trying to think of like any normal moves that it gets to make use of Refrigerate. It gets Explosion, but I don't. Explosion's not good on it because it's physical attack. Oh, actually, its physical attack's not bad. It's 95. I didn't know it was that high. Okay, so Refrigerate, Explosion, Refrigerate, Uproar. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it would be stronger than Ice Beam, but then you're stuck into like a 3-turn Uproar. I don't know if that's how Uproar works in this game. I don't know how Refrigerate and Weather Ball interact. Yeah, I mean, it gets Hyper Beam. It definitely learns a fair amount of normal moves. It gets Round. I don't think you'd really want to use that though. I mean, it's useful. It's just a way to get some extra damage. So I would say that it's always useful, especially because this Pokemon is a weather setter. And we already discussed that weather's going to be pretty good. Deerling gets Justified, which I believe if you get hit with a dark move, you get like some sort of buff. Let me just double check. The reason this tier list is taking so long to make is because I have to constantly like double check. Yeah, attack if it hits with a dark move. I mean, I think that is situational. Emolga gets Wind Power. It's not really a Pokemon that like is weak to wind moves, so I'm going to say that it's situational. I think Emolga is not an awful Pikachu clone just because of the fact it's an electric flying type. Electric flying is a really good type. Carablast gets No Guard. No Guard, Mega Horn is the first thing I think of. I think that is always useful to have. That's very good. He's a Bug Steel type, which is a very nice type. Fungus gets Mimicry. Mimicry is a silly ability, so I don't think this is... Mimicry changes type depending on terrain. Yeah, that's, in my opinion, that wouldn't be worth the investment because it's very gimmicky. You could put it in like useful but situational, but like, what if you get turned into a type that screws you over in the end, you know? And that's obviously on you to figure out, I guess. But Prillish has Mummy. I think that it's... I think that's always useful. Being able to just take away your opponent's ability. Depends on the ability though, because the ability could be working against them. Aloma Mola, multi-scale. Oh, I love this fish so much. I'd say that's always useful to have because you're constantly able to heal yourself too. It gets Bouncy Bubble. It gets Take Heart. I forget what that does. It gets Bouncy Bubble, which is a healing water move, and it gets Wish, obviously. I think usually. It just gets ways to heal itself. So like I think multi-scale is really good. Joltik gets Volt Absorb. I think that's just situational. I mean it's not a bad ability. It's nice to have, but I don't know. Ferroseed gets Skill Link. Interesting. So they're trying to make him like a bullet seeding Pokemon or whatever. I mean, I think giving it the option to bullet seed instead of power whip, I think that is always useful actually. It gets Pin Missile. Does it get bullet seed? It should do, right? It gets bullet seed by TM, so I'm not sure if you have to just get lucky to get bullet seed on this guy. But I mean, starting off early, you have Pin Missile, which turns from a potential like 50 power move to a guaranteed 125 power move, and it's a bug coverage move. And bullet seed turns into a guaranteed 125 damaging move, where that's 100% accurate, whereas power whip's 120. And also bullet seed has more of a chance to crit because you're constantly using an individual move 5 times. So each of those attacks have a chance to crit, and also you break sturdy. So bullet seed's definitely better to use than power whip. Clink can get Steelworker, which I mean, this thing is already just kind of like a steel type. Like all it really does is have steel and some electric moves. So I would say that would significantly improve this Pokemon and give it a lot more damage to do. Dynamo gets Swift Swim. Definitely just a situational ability. So situational. LGM gets Shadow Tag, which I mean, I think that can definitely come in handy. I think that would maybe significantly improve him, giving him a gimmick of like being like a revenge killer or something that like guarantees gets a kill because he's got analytic too. He's really strong. Litwick gets Soul Heart. Oh my god, who thought this was a good idea? I think that is OP personally. Axew gets Sheer Force. I mean, on top of its attack stat is so ridiculously high. I think that is just always good to have. It could even be OP. Cubchoo gets Intimidate, which I mean, I don't know. It's a slow ice type. I would say it significantly improves the Pokemon though. Intimidate's just a good ability. Cryogonal gets Dazzling, which means it can't be hit with priority moves, which I mean, its physical defense is really bad. So like, you know, Fake Out, Sucker Punch, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, those not being able to hit it, I think significantly improves it. Cryogonal's got really good special bulk and it's pretty fast. Its physical bulk is where it deters and kind of sucks, so that's always nice. I genuinely forgot the name of this Pokemon. I know that's Selgor. Shalmet, okay. Shalmet gets Disguise. I mean, it's like Mimikyu in that regard, I guess. So maybe it can get like something set up. It gets Shed Tail, Leech Life, Silk Trap, Ceaseless Edge. I feel like it's more of a utility mon. I think it would significantly improve the Pokemon having Disguise on it. Stunfisk, it gets Storm Drain. Oh my god, that gets rid of a weakness. I think that significantly improves him. I don't think it makes him OP or anything. Galarian Sunfisk gets Iron Barbs. That's not as good, to be honest. I'd say it's situational. Mienfoo gets No Guard, which guarantees that it's going to land its high jump kicks. I think that's just always nice to have. Druddigon gets Intimidate. It's already a really bulky Pokemon, so I think that would be always nice to have on him. I'm a big fan of Druddigon. Maybe it's a bit of bias coming through. Maybe it would just significantly improve him, but Druddigon's really nice in my opinion. Golett gets Shadow Shield, which is just basically multi-scale, but for ghost types. I would say that is always useful. Allows him to, you know, get himself going. Ponyard gets sharpness. That's just extra damage from some. You get so many like moves that are affected by sharpness. And there's King Gambit too. I honestly, that might just be OP, to be honest. That's just so much extra damage coming in on so many of his moves. Bouffalant gets Thick Fat, which is nice. It makes it now like take less damage from ice and fire moves. I would say that is significantly improves Bouffalant. Rufflet gets Reckless. I don't really think this helps Galarian Bravery, unfortunately. But it's nice for Brave Bird and Double Edge on regular Bravery. I would say it significantly improves it, gives it a little bit more extra damage. Vullaby gets Thick Fat. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna say that like is always useful, and it like deters on like OP. Heatmore gets Contrary, which means I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it gets Overheat, right? So if it's spamming Overheat, its attacks going up by 2 instead of down by 2. I think it gets Overheat. It doesn't get Overheat by level up, but maybe like an Overheat TM or something. I don't know. I don't see anything in its immediate level up moveset that would help with Contrary. Considering it also has a Nasty Plot as an egg move. So this on him might be a bit more of a situational moment. It depends if he gets access to Overheat. Durant gets Tough Claws. Dude, Durant is already a force to be reckoned with without Tough Claws. I think that is always useful. Dino gets Berserk, which I mean, there's no reason for it to just that's like, I want to say it's OP because I've put other Berserk Pokemon in here and his base stat total is really high. So like if you just get this guy below half health, he just gets 2 special attack for free. I think that's pretty OP. Larvesta gets Drought. Just being able to set up your own Drought is insane, especially on a Pokemon like Volcarona. That's OP. Cobalion gets Interpret Sword. Oh my god. Cobalion is a steel fighting type. Steel types are just insane. I'm going to say Interpret Sword Cobalion is OP. I think that ability is just messed up. That's Zacian's ability. It just gives it a free physical attack raise as it comes into battle. Terrakion gets Rocky Payload, which I mean, honestly, I think that's OP. Just like extra rock damage. And what about Virizion? Symbiosis. That is definitely the stinkiest out of the group. I would say that it's situational. Symbiosis makes it so if the Pokemon next to it faints, it gets the items passed over to it. But in a game like this, I don't know if that's even good, to be honest. I don't know if I'd even call that good. I'd say that's not worth the investment, but it just depends on how Symbiosis works in PokeRogue. I actually don't know how it works in this game. Tornadus gets Delta Stream, which I believe is just Mega Riposta's ability. Yeah. Oh my god. All of its weaknesses are just like deleted. Or well, they're just not as much. Yeah, they're neutral now. Jesus. I'm gonna say that that's OP, to be honest. I think that's very OP. Thundurus gets Drizzle. Again, it just gets spam Thunder for free. I'm gonna say that that's OP, just like Zapdos. And then Landorus gets Prankster. This guy just getting to set up whatever, whenever. I mean, especially in his other form where it likes to Stealth Rock and stuff. I mean, I think and maybe it's always useful. Maybe it's not OP because he is already really fast and he already does get the opportunity to set up. I'm gonna say it's always useful. It might actually be OP though. I think you'd be okay without it though. Landorus is just already a monster. Reshiram gets Orichalcum Pulse, which is Koraidon's ability. It turns Sunlight harsh when entering a battle and boosts its attack. On Reshiram, that's interesting because Reshiram is generally more of a special attacker, but it definitely has a usable physical attack. So I'm gonna say that is OP because I mean, it's first of all, it sets up the sun and it just allows it to do different types of damage. It could be a mixed attacker, it could be special and physical at the same time. So like, you can't just send in a Blissey to take the hits because it also has physical moves and it has its physical attack raised. So then I imagine Zekrom gets the other ability, which is Hadron Engine. I imagine that raises its special attack when it comes into battle and sets up electric terrain. I think these are honestly just ridiculous abilities. So I think they would go crazy on any Pokemon, but the fact they're on legendaries is, yeah, special attack. Let me double check Zekrom's special attack. I want to say it's like 120. Yeah, it's 120. Yep. Free special attack boost. It's got some really good special attacks as well that I can make use of. I think that's OP. Kyurem gets Snow Warning, which I mean, I think is good on regular and white Kyurem, but on black Kyurem, black Kyurem is more of a I mean, its physical defense is always raised, but it's more of a physical attacker, so it doesn't typically run Blizzard and stuff like that, whereas these, like, white and regular Kyurem could definitely run Blizzard. Yeah, so regular Kyurem is 130 special attack, white Kyurem is 170, and black Kyurem is 120. The black Kyurem kind of gets shafted a little bit there, which makes me sad. Doesn't get to spam Blizzard. I mean, it can, but it's not going to be as strong. I mean, I still think Snow Warning on it, just, like, it's still OP, though. Like, semantics out of the way, it's a very OP ability to give it. Gets a physical defense buff, and also it can spam Blizzard. Keldeo gets Sharpness, which, I mean, already discussed. Sharpness is very strong. I would say it's OP because Keldeo is a very good Pokemon. Meloetta gets Punk Rock, Torch Song, Quiver Dance, Victory Dance, Boom Burst. God, okay. I think just giving it crazy sound moves and also buffing them, I think that's pretty OP. Genesect gets Mega Launcher, which means it gets a buff to like aura moves. Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, Origin Pulse, Terrain Pulse, Water Pulse, Heal Pulse. I don't know what aura moves Genesect gets. Maybe Aura Sphere and Dark Pulse, I would say. I'm not actually, wait, does it? And PokeRogue gets Focus Blast, Steel Beam, Shift Gear, Quiver Dance. I'm not sure. I don't know what aura moves it gets. It gets Dark Pulse, that's it. At least based on Pokemon DB. I mean, maybe they've given it custom moves though, so I can't say for sure. I think it's situational for now, but I mean, if it gets a bunch of aura moves, or if they make it so like Focus Blast is an aura move, for example, then it would definitely maybe be a bit higher. All right, done with Gen 5. Now we're on to Generation 6. Chespin gets Iron Barbs. I think it significantly improves it considering it gets like Spiky Shield and stuff naturally. I mean, I think Iron Barbs is just always useful to have on him. He's a starter Pokemon after all. Fennekin. Fennekin gets Magic Guard, which we've already discussed in this game is a little bit more situational. But maybe it could be improved. Yeah, I mean, if Fennekin learned like Mind Blown as a egg move, then that would be insane because Mind Blown would take no recoil damage. If Fennekin had more moves that could make use of Magic Guard, I think it would be better. But it's a bit situational in Fennekin. Froakie gets Merciless. Ooh, interesting. They're like trying to make it a poison guy kind of. He is a frog. On Froakie, I feel like Merciless is a bit situational. I don't know if I'd invest in that personally. Bunnelby gets Gut. In addition with huge power. Guts right now is situational, but that can definitely be OP if used right, and also if they add ways to improve Guts and stuff like that. Fletchling gets Reckless. Obviously Carbon, Cookie Cutter, Flare Blitz, Brave Bird. Those get improved in damage. I would say that's always useful. It's not OP, but it's always useful. Scatterbug gets Prankster. I think having Pavilion be able to just set up Quiver Dance like turn 1 and have a special bulk, that is always useful. I think Prankster on that thing is really good because if you've got it in against a special attacker, you Prankster Quiver Dance, they're doing significantly less damage to you, and now you can just like go crazy. Leo gets Intimidate. I mean, I'm sorry to say, I think it's a good ability, but the Pokemon sucks. Baby gets Grassy Surge, which is very good, honestly. I would say that is just always nice to have. Also, Eternal Floette is in this game, but I don't know if Eternal Floette has official artwork, so I don't think it's technically officially a Pokemon. So we're just going to use this artwork of Floette here. Eternal Floette has Magic Guard. Eternal Floette learns a move. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Light of Ruin. And Light of Ruin, it does a lot of recoil, and Magic Guard would prevent that recoil. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that is OP. Skiddo gets Fur Coat. Oh my goodness. I love that. Love a grass type Fur Coat user. I think that is always nice to have. I mean, I think, okay, it significantly improves the Pokemon. I don't know if it makes it OP or anything, but Fur Coat's very nice. Pancham gets Fluffy. It's a weird double-edged sword moment where like it's really nice to take better physical hits, but also, it is a bit weaker to fire now. I don't think it really minds being weaker to fire, so I would say that's always nice to have personally. I would like a Fluffy Pangoro. And speaking of Fluffy, we got Furfro. Furfro gets Ball Fetch. That's personally not an ability I want to invest into, but to each their own. Esper gets Psychic Surge. Goodness gracious. I think that's really good. Psychic Surge boosts psychic moves and it also prevents priority moves, so Sucker Punch isn't really going to hurt you. Stuff like that. I would say that it significantly improves Esper. I don't know if it makes it like OP. I mean, it is always nice to have, obviously. And it is a Psychic Terrain Setter. You know what? I'll put it in always useful. Psychic Terrain Setters, we can never get enough of those. Honedge gets Sharpness. It goes Tachyon Cutter, which is, I think that's Iron, whatever the hell his face is. Iron Cobalion. I think that's his move. I think it's a pretty good move. It's a special, I imagine it must be boosted by Sharpness. Yeah, it is. It would be, it never misses, and it's 75 power and it hits twice. Oh my god, wait, guaranteed hits twice. I'm gonna say that's OP. I think already Aegislash is a very OP Pokemon because of the way you can interact with the AI. Giving it Tachyon Cutter and Sharpness, 75 power twice, that's 150 power move. That is bonkers, dude. Spritzy has Unaware. I would say that Unaware is very good, especially in a game where Pokemon are constantly getting spammed to boost. So I think that would significantly improve Spritzy. I have forgotten the name of this pre-evolution of Slurpuff. I need to look it up. It is Swirlix. Swirlix has Pixelate. Oh my goodness. Considering Swirlix's whole thing is that it likes to belly drum and use return and go crazy, I think Pixelate, honestly, it could be OP. I'm gonna put it in always useful, but it could be OP. Belly drum, unburden, return. I don't know how unburden works in this game, but Inkay has Supreme Overlord. Oh my goodness, that is a very fitting ability. I like that they thematically fit them, and I would say that makes Inkay always useful to have in your back pocket, especially with Contrary. It's not the most OP Pokemon, but I think Supreme Overlord could definitely make it that way. Binacle with Solid Rock. I mean, this Pokemon likes to set up shell smashes, so anything that allows it to take hits better, I think, is always useful. Squelp, Corrosion. He does like poisoning. I think Corrosion I think it would significantly improve. I mean, honestly, considering Eternatus, Corrosion might just be more of an always useful moment, but to be fair, it shares a type with Eternatus when it evolves, so Eternatus can just one-tap it with a dragon move, but would it one-tap it? Because Dragalge has really good special bulk. But either way, this guy, it would allow him to get a Toxic off on Eternatus, which is, I think is pretty good because residual damage is what you need to kill Eternatus, like, safely, in my opinion. So it's a bit of a weird one. This is just on paper, like, my immediate, like, thoughts. Launcher gets Swift Swim, which is just a situational moment. Helioptile gets No Guard, which means it can just spam Thunder and not even have a care in the world, and I love that for him. I'm gonna say that's always useful. Tyron gets Sheer Force. Sheer Force is really good. I'd say that's always useful to have in Tyron. Amora gets Serene Grace, which I think, I mean, sometimes you like running Body Slam on Amora because it gets Refrigerate. Serene Grace plus Blizzard, Snow Warning. Wow. I mean, its typing really sucks, so it kind of sets it back, but I would say that Serene Grace is always useful to have in Amora. Alucha gets Reckless, which High Jump Kick, Brave Bird. You know, we've already been over this. I think that's always useful to have on him. Dedenne gets Simple, which, I mean, this guy likes to have, like, Cheek Pouch and Stuffed Cheeks and Tea Time, Swirly Swirl. I don't know what Swirly Swirl does. Let's have a look. Dedenne is very much a berry fiend, and I think berries are really good in this game. I think it is a little gimmicky, but I think giving it Simple would significantly improve it at the very least. Carbink gets Solid Rock. Anything that allows you to take hits, like I've said, is pretty good. I would say it's always useful, especially because Carbink's actually a pretty good Pokemon. Gumi gets Poison Heal. Poison Heal right now isn't the most ideal. It's a bit more situational, but it could definitely be pretty good. Klefki gets Triage on top of its so Draining Kiss, Triage. So like it basically, like, I feel like all of its moves are priority at that point. Like it gets Prankster, so all of its status moves are priority. So it gets Calm Mind. It goes Calm Mind first, and then it gets Draining Kiss first. I think that, I mean, it's a Fairy Steel type. I'm not gonna call it OP, but it definitely could cause some damage. Triage on that thing is genius. Phantom gets Unnerve, which, I mean, again, having the ability to stop your opponent from eating berries is always useful to have. Pumpkaboo gets Flare Boost, which a bit situational right now, but it could be useful. Bergmite gets Mirror Armor, which basically means if you try to drop its stats, it will do it right back to you. Yep, that's decent. I would say it significantly improves him. I don't know if it makes him amazing, but it significantly improves him. Noibat gets Punk Rock. I would say that's just always useful to have, considering it likes using side moves. Xerneas gets Competitive. So I guess if it gets any of its stats dropped, it gets +2 special attack. I mean, I think that's pretty OP to have, especially on a legendary Pokemon. And Yveltal has Defiant. The thing is, Yveltal is more of a special attacker, I think. So Defiant might not be as nice on him. No, Yveltal and Xerneas are mixed physical special. Never mind. They're 131 in both. Yeah, I mean, Yveltal, I think, likes being run mixed. Specifically, I think Xerneas is more ran special, but I mean, Yveltal's so bulky. I think Defiant, yeah, that's very OP. Considering the fact it also has Oblivion Wing, which is nice. I mean, Defiant doesn't really get buffed by that, but then we got Zygarde with Regenerator. Oh my word. I don't know how Regenerator would interact with his other forms, but I think, honestly, Regenerator on him is very overpowered. I mean, they're legendaries. What do you expect, right? Deontay gets Queenly Majesty, which means Bullet Punch isn't going to just pop it. And also other priority moves like Aqua Jet and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think you really need priority moves to pop this thing. I mean, well, Mega Deontay maybe, actually, yeah. Mega Deontay's really fast and not as bulky. I'd say Queenly Majesty on this thing's pretty good because it protects it from like 4 times super effective bullet punches. Hoopa. Oh, wait, did they nerf it? I think they must have nerfed it because Hoopa used to... Actually, no. Never mind, I'm insane. Hoopa's normal ability is Magician, which makes it like very useful. Its other ability is Trace. I think the fact that it can have Magician and also potentially another ability is always nice to have, as long as both Magician and race can work in conjunction. Volcanion gets Filter. Filter, I believe, just weakens moves against you. It reduces damage from super effective moves. I think that is always nice to have. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it OP. It's always nice to have. Next up is Generation 7. Rowlet gets Sniper. This just makes it so its critical moves do so much damage. I don't know if there's like a way. If there was a way for it to guarantee crits, I think it would be very OP. But I think for now, Sniper is maybe a bit situational. Like Leaf Blade, I think if it gets Leaf Blade, like that's nice and all, but it's not like guaranteeing crits. It's just increasing the chance a little bit. Litten gets Prankster. Oh my god, he doesn't need it. He's already the best Pokemon in the game. I'm going to say Prankster Litten is OP. Prankster Fake Out, dude. And then, of course, PokeRogue gets PokeRogue, which I think is, it's just always nice to have. Piggy Peck has Anger Point. Definitely a situational moment. Could be useful, though. So now this one is insane. Yungoos gets Huge Power. And just for reference, Gumshoes has 110 attack and adaptability. 110 attack is higher than Mega Mawile's attack. They've given Huge Power to a Pokemon that's stronger than Mega Mawile. Thankfully, though, it is very slow. I think it's always useful that it has Huge Power, but I don't know if I'd necessarily call it OP. I mean, a Huge Power adaptability, it's going to sting, but it is also very slow, so it's not going to live forever. Grubbin gets Speed Boost, so all the complaints about Vikavolt speed are going to be diminished. I mean, I think Speed Boost is always nice to have. I don't know if it would make Vikavolt OP, though. A Brawler gets Refrigerate. Oh my god, okay. So its normal moves now become ice moves, and they're also stronger. I like Abominable a lot, actually. In terms of normal moves, by level up it learns Slam, and that's it. So maybe if you get like a Facade TM or something, Refrigerate Facade could go crazy. It doesn't actually get that. I mean, Body Slam too. Refrigerate Body Slam's nice. These are like TM moves though, so I don't know like how consistent that is. And so I mean, I'll put it in that it significantly improves, but Abominable is still a Abominable, unfortunately. Oricorio gets adaptability as well. That's nice because I mean that hits all 4 forms. I think that it's really good. I mean, significantly improves the Pokemon. It is always useful to have. Oricorio is not too bad. Cutiefly gets Friend Guard, which makes it so your friend takes, I think it's 33% less damage. So whoever, if you're doing a double battle, which double battles are pretty frequent in that game, I think they take 33% less damage, which is pretty good. Reduces damage done to allies. Pokemon like Clefairy, Jigglypuff, like not even final evolutions. Mousehold gets it. Mousehold gets Friend Guard. It's like the first fully evolved Pokemon besides Vivillon to get it. Yeah, so Vivillon, Happiny, like it's usually like baby Pokemon that get it. Like I remember, I believe my friend brought Friend Guard Clefairy with Eviolite to like a VGC event just to protect Metagross a bit more. Like Friend Guard is a pretty good ability. I would say that it's always useful to have. Rockruff has Rocky Payload, which I mean, I'm gonna say it's always useful. I don't know if it's OP, but it's always useful. At least it's not fucking Sandstream. Wishy-Washy gets Parental Bond, which I think is just, I mean, Wishy-Washy, it's always useful to have Parental Bond. I'm not sure if it's OP though. Marini gets Toxic Debris, which I'm gonna say that's OP because Toxapex is already an insane Pokemon as it is. And just being able to just take hits, which it does very well, and just set up spikes without having the move slot taken up by Toxic Spikes, that is OP. Mudbray gets Cudchew. I think in a game where berries are very good, and this is a Pokemon with stamina, I'm gonna say Cudchew is always useful. It might be OP though. Dewpider, my beloved. Dewpider gets Strongjaw, which is really good because Dewpider typically likes to run Bug Bite early on. So Strongjaw improving Bug Bite makes it so you don't necessarily have to run something like Lunge. I mean, Lunge is very nice because it drops attack, but like Bug Bite's really good because of the berries in this game. So Strongjaw on the Bug Bite, very good. I also like running Crunch on my one. So I mean, I think Bug Bite, yeah, Strongjaw, Dewpider, incredible. Fomantis gets Mimicry. That is, in my opinion, not worth investing into. That sucks. I wish Fomantis got something a little bit better. I'm losing my mind. Oh yeah, this is a Gen 7 Pokemon. I thought this was Gen 8 because of like, I feel like I've seen this Pokemon in Gen 8 more. Morlul gets Perish Body. It's a weird situation where I feel like Morlul, I think, does Morlul naturally get Regenerator maybe? I don't remember. I don't think so actually. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like Gengar, I think Gengar gets switched out a lot, so I think Perish Body's a bit more justified. I think this one is a bit more situational. It can definitely be useful though. So land it with Dazzling, so it can't be hit with like Aqua Jet and stuff like that. I think that's just always nice to have. I believe Dazzling also protects your teammate, which is the Pokemon immune to high priority. Okay, just the Pokemon, not your teammates, just the Pokemon. But yeah, I think that's always useful to have, like not being able to be hit with priority moves as a frail Pokemon that's fast. not being able to hit with priority moves is insane. Stuffle gets Hospitality, which when it switches in on battle, I believe, showers his ally with Hospitality, restoring a small amount of the ally's HP. So I think it's like 30% health or something whenever it switches in. Considering how many double battles there are, I would say that's always useful to have, to be honest. I mean, I'm a huge advocate of Beware. I think Beware is an incredible Pokemon, so I think that's very good. Yeah. Bounce Sweet gets Ripen. Ripen doubles the effects of berries, and considering how good berries are in this game, I'm gonna say that's always useful. I wouldn't say it's OP, but considering berries, always useful to have that. Especially, I mean, I love Serena, so a little bit of bias for Serena there. But Comfey gets Friend Guard, which we've already discussed is pretty good. I would say it significantly improves Comfey. Oranguru also gets Hospitality. I think that's a bit more of a situational moment. I don't know if I would necessarily say it significantly improves Oranguru. I don't think Oranguru is that good, to be honest, but maybe I just don't know how to use it. Pissimian. I almost forgot about the name of Pissimian. Kosar. Ooh, so if you have a Pokemon next to Pissimian and it's setting up, he's going to copy those stat buffs. I think that has potential. I think that's always useful. It maybe is a bit situational at times. I'm going to say it significantly improves him. I don't know if it's always useful, but it significantly improves him. Wimpod gets Tinted Lens, which makes like resisted false impressions from Golisopod not as resisted. And I'm going to say that that's always useful. Might be a little OP because Golisopod is kind of insane, but Golisopod's ability is not good. It does actually hurt him, so I'll say it's always useful. First impression in that game is very good. Sandygast, that's his name. Sandygast has Dauntless Shield. I mean, I think that on Sandygast, it's always useful. It might, with Water Compaction, just a free defense buff, might be a little OP. I'm not sure. Yukimuku with Iron Barbs. Yukimuku already does damage with Innards Out if it gets knocked out and stuff. I'd say Iron Barbs would significantly improve its stalling capabilities. Type Null. Type Null gets Adaptability. Oh my god. Yeah, that... I'm going to say that's OP considering the fact that you can like change your drive and stuff like that and like just make it really, just really, really strong. Minior gets Anger Shell, which is kind of incredible considering the form change thing it's got going on. Because if you get Minior below half health, it changes its form, I think, right? Into a more offensive form. So that plus Anger Shell, I'm going to say that's OP. I think it's good though. I think it should have that. Minior deserves it. Minior has a really bad moveset. Give Mini or something. Komala gets Guts. Does that just automatically proc because it's technically sleeping? Because if that's the case, I think that's always, I mean, that's always useful. I don't know if Komala is very, I feel like that would make Komala a usable Pokemon. Turtonator gets Anger Shell. I don't know if Anger Shell is good on Turtonator. I'm gonna say it's useful but situational. Togedemaru gets Static. I think that is situational. Mimikyu gets Mimicry. I mean, it makes sense, but it's not worth the investment. Bruxish gets Multiscale. Interesting. I feel like it would significantly improve it. Drampa gets Flash Fire. Interesting maneuver. That's a situational moment, I think. Delmise gets Infiltrator. I feel like that's situational. Jangmo gets Dancer. Ooh, hold on. I mean, that's definitely situational. It can just copy like other Pokemon's dance moves. But I mean, if another Pokemon is Dragon Dancing in front of it, he also Dragon Dances. It's situational, but it could definitely be very good. We got Coco, Galvanize. I'm trying to think of any like moves that Tapu Koko would use that would be like very good with Galvanize. Because Coco's moveset's already pretty good. Can't really see anything off rip that like stands out to me that Galvanize would be like very good with. Yeah, I'm gonna say that is it's situational. I mean, I might even say it's not worth the investment because like, I mean, just based on the moves that I'm looking at right now, Coco doesn't learn any like normal moves that like can make use of Galvanize. I guess Round, Swift, Facade, Snore, Mean Look, Reach, Quick Attack, False Swipe. And Coco is actually Coco's more of a physical attacker. Galvanize, Quick Attack, maybe Electric Surge. You know, we'll leave it in situational. I feel like Coco's already got a good predetermined moveset. Berserk Lele. I'm gonna say that that's OP because Lele is a stupid Pokemon already without Berserk. Lele gets Geomancy, dude. What the hell? Bulu gets Flower Veil. Honestly, I think that's kind of a shaft. I think Shaman got the same one. Yeah, prevents ally grass type Pokemon stats from being lowered. That is so ass. Like, why is that even an ability, dude? That is not worth the investment. And then Finny has Fairy Aura, which just makes its fairy. It's already got Misty Terrain. Yeah, that's OP in my opinion. And they made Finny. They made the girls OP. They made the boys kind of mid. Cosmo gets Beast Boost. So that means Lunala, Solgaleo get Beast Boost. I will say that is OP. Right up. I don't know why I even had to think about it. That is OP. Nihilego gets Poison Puppeteer. First time we've seen another Pokemon Poison Puppeteer. It's a new ability on Pecharunt. It makes it so Pokemon poisoned by Pecharunt's moves will also become confused. Oh my goodness. So like spamming Sludge Bomb and you just get a poison on it, it just confuses them. That is disgusting. Plus with Beast Boost, I might just say that this is OP. Like that's just very annoying. Buzzwole gets Moxie. Why? Dude, why? Okay, just plus that's OP. Pheromosa also gets Moxie. Also OP. Those guys are like duos, so yeah, they're definitely OP. Xurkitree gets Lightning Rod. I mean, anything that will raise its special attack is nice. I'm gonna say it's just always nice to have. Xurkitree is already OP though. Celesteela gets Chlorophyll. It's situational. Cortana gets Sharpness. He does not need that. I'm telling you now, he does not need Sharpness. That is OP. Cortana is an insane Pokemon already. It does not need Sharpness. Guzzlord gets Gluttony. Like we discussed, berries are pretty good. I'm gonna say it's always good though, not OP or anything. It has potential though. Necrozma gets Beast Boost. That's OP. Like just straight up OP. Especially if you get Ultra Necrozma. Magearna gets Steely Spirit. Yeah, that's OP. Magearna is already insane with Soul Heart. It does not need Steely Spirit. Marshadow with Iron Fist. I think Marshadow is already an overpowered Pokemon, and the fact that it gets Iron Fist buffed like Drain Punches, like it doesn't need that, so that's OP. Poipole gets Merciless. I mean, Poipole is already a Pokemon that's all about poisoning and stuff, so I'm gonna say that's always useful to have. It might be OP though. Right, Stakataka gets Dauntless Shield. I mean, his type kind of sucks a little bit, but I'm going to say that's always useful to have. Blacephalon gets Regenerator, which is, that's really good in conjunction with Mind Blown. I'm going to say that that's always useful because it doesn't really get to abuse Beast Boost if it's switching out to keep its health up. Zeraora gets Motor Drive, which again, I mean, I'm gonna just say that it's always useful to have. It's not bad to have. Meltan gets Full Metal Body, and it also has a G-Max form. Full Metal Body, so it can't have its stats dropped. I think that, honestly, on Melmetal, I think that's a little OP. Melmetal's already insane. All right, we're in the final stretch. I know this video has been a long one, so if you're still here, comment saying cherry tomatoes. I took it upon myself to separate these Pokemon already. I probably should have done that before I even started recording. It would have made things a lot less messy. I think I just didn't expect it to take me as long as it has, but I've already started and now I'm dedicated to finishing this. So let's start with Grookey. Solid Rock. I think that's pretty good considering the fact that Rillaboom is already a very good Pokemon. Anything that allows it to take less damage is good. Scorbunny gets Reckless, High Jump Kick, Flare Blitz, whole 9 yards, you understand, you get the vibes. Also worth mentioning, these Pokemon get Gigantamax forms. Scorbunny, Rillaboom, Sobble, Corviknight gets one, Blipbug gets one, Chewtle gets one, Roly-Poly gets one, Applin gets one, or two technically, Sandaconda gets two. Or Sandaconda gets one rather, sorry. Toxil gets one. This guy gets one, I forget his name. This guy gets one, this guy gets one, this guy gets one. This guy, Cufin gets one. Duraludon gets one. And of course there's G-Max Torrentis, which I forgot to separate. Cobfu's Evolutions gets one. There's quite a few Pokemon that get G-Max forms, and G-Max forms, like I said previously, they work similarly to Mega Evolution in the regard that they all get stat buffs, but mostly weighted towards HP. But the G-Max forms are permanent, so it's definitely worth considering them. Sobble gets Mimicry, which I personally just wouldn't invest into. Squovet gets Honeygather. I don't know how good Honeygather is in PokeRogue. I don't really know what it does in PokeRogue. Honeygather in the main games, it just gives you a chance to collect honey. I don't know if it's got no effect in battle. I imagine it must have an effect in battle in this game though. I'm gonna say right now it's not worth the investment, but I don't know what Honeygather does. I mean, ultimately, I think Squovet probably just sucks and Honeygather can't save it, but Rookidee gets Iron Barbs. I think that's always nice to have on a steel type that's physically bulky. Yeah, that's really good. Blipbug gets Tinted Lens. This Pokemon's got a G-Max form, keep that in mind. I think Tinted Lens on him is always good. Nickit deserved better. He's such a cute Pokemon. He gets Intimidate. Intimidate is pretty standard. I think I mean, it's honestly, on Nickit, it's probably just useful, but situational. I mean, you could honestly probably just put it in, it's good, but the Pokemon still sucks. I honestly forgot the name of this Pokemon. I actually just need to start looking up a Pokedex because I'm forgetting the name of Pokemon now. There's too many Pokemon. Eldegoss, Gossifleur. Gossifleur gets Storm Drain. Interesting. Storm Drain's not too good. Not too bad. It's definitely situational on this Pokemon though. Wooloo gets Rockhead. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Rockhead. I think it's situational on Wooloo. I would say Wooloo is detering on Sucking, to be honest. Chewtle also gets Rockhead. Actually pretty decent on Chewtle considering the fact it has a Gigantamax form. It's able to like Shell Smash and stuff usually. I would say it's always nice to have Rockhead on Choodle because it also like likes running Head Smash potentially. I think, I would assume, why else would it have that, right? Yeah, I guess Head Smash is a... No, wait, it doesn't get Head Smash. I guess Shell Smash is an egg move. Does it learn Head Smash by level up? It might. It has to. There's no reason like otherwise. Yeah, I guess Head Smash is level up. Yeah, so Head Smash on Choodle. That's always nice to have. Yamper gets Speed Boost. I think that would significantly improve Yamper. Yamper stocks going up. Roly-Poly gets Earth Eater. That literally just gets rid of a whole ass weakness, and it's got a G-Max form. I think that's always nice to have. Applin is a tricky bitch because there's literally a gajillion things Applin can do. Applin gets Dragon's Maw. Okay, I'm gonna just say that that's OP. Maybe. I'm a big advocate for Dragon's Maw. It's insane. It literally buffs dragon moves by 50%. Applin is got Flapple, Appleton, G-Max Appleton, G-Max Flapple, and then it's got Diplin and it's Hydrapple. There's so many different forms that it can take. Maybe it's not OP. Maybe it's just always useful. I guess it depends on the G-Max forms. G-Max Appleton is pretty damn bulky. G-Max Flapple, it's not super fast. I'm gonna put it here, but it could potentially be OP. Sandaconda gets Sand Rush, which is pretty good because it doesn't have Sand Stream, but if you hit it, it has Sand Spit, so it's like a delayed Sand Stream, and it has Sand Rush, so it would make it really fast. I'm gonna say that is always good. It might actually even be OP on G-Max Sandaconda. G-Max Sandaconda, pretty decent speed. His special attack is 150. Yeah, Sand Rush on G-Max Sandaconda might be broken. Cramorant gets Storm Drain. I'm gonna say it's situational. I don't know if it's very good on Cram. Galvanize on Toxel. I don't think of any normal moves that Toxtricity likes running off the top of my head. Toxtricity does have a G-Max form, keep that in mind. Toxtricity's G-Max form, 85 base speed, which is not bad. 144 special. Wait, hold on. Oh, Sandaconda's got 150 defense, not special attack. So sorry about that correction. Okay, I'm gonna say that's not... Wait, 135 attack then. That's pretty high. That's pretty high. Toxtricity's got 144 special attack with 80 speed. Galvanize. Do you have any normal moves that you like to run? Boom Burst. Oh, there we go. That's the one. Galvanize Boom Burst. I don't know if it's OP, but I would say it is always useful. I mean, like, honestly, I think that like Sandaconda, I think if it was just straight up Sandstream, it would be OP. Sand Spit is a little tiny bit more situational. I'm gonna say G-Max Sandaconda with Sand Rush is OP. Not sure I can say the same for Toxtricity, but it is very good, I would say. Sizzlipede gets Defiant. This thing also has a G-Max form. I'm gonna just say Defiant would be always nice on it. G-Max forms are pretty good, to be honest. It makes me wish there was more Pokemon with G-Max forms. Lobopus gets Swift Swim. That is a useful but situational ability. Poltegeist, or Sinistea rather, gets Water Absorb. I think that significantly improves it. It's a move that it can just switch in on. Hatena gets Magic Guard. I can't think of anything that would make Magic Guard really good on Hatena because I don't think it gets like... It doesn't get Light of Ruin. Magic Guard's just a nice ability in general, but it doesn't make Hatena OP, whereas, you know, for example, it made... I think it made Eternal Floette OP. Impidimp gets Tangling Hair. Yeah, that, in my opinion, would not be worth the investment. Maybe it is worth the investment, and maybe it's just situational, but yeah, I don't know. That Pokemon has a G-Max form, by the way. Milcery gets Well-Baked Body. I'm gonna say that would be always good to have on a G-Max Alcremie. Phalanx gets Moxie. Yeah, that's always nice to have. I don't know if it's OP, but it's always nice to have. Pincurchin gets Iron Barbs. I'm gonna say it would significantly improve it. Snom gets Snow Warning, which is a nice defense boost on top of Ice Scales, and also it can just land blizzards all the time. I think that significantly improves Frostmoth. Stone Uriner gets Solid Rock, which is it's not gonna fix his awful special defense, but it significantly improve him, I think. Ice Cube gets Slush Rush. That's a situational ability. And DD gets Magic Bounce, which I think works pretty well on both of them. I think that's always nice to have. Morpeko gets Gluttony. In a game like this, I think it would significantly improve Morpeko. Qfint gets Heat Proof, so now it's not as weak to fire, obviously. I think that would, honestly, with a G-Max form as well. I think Heat Proof G-Max form, I would say it's always nice to have. Dracozolt gets... Wait, what? That can't be right. This thing gets Slush Rush? Wait, maybe it is right. Because I think naturally Dracozolt gets Sand Rush. Let's have a look. Dracozolt naturally gets Sand Rush. So then, and then Arctozolt gets Slush Rush as a passive. So this thing is Slush Rush. And also, it's like, it's just giving them more options. Interesting. So this thing gets Slush Rush. Obviously situational. Sand Rush on this thing is situational. Arctovish gets Strong Jaw. And I believe Vicious Rend is affected by that. Yes, it is. Of course it is. That's the whole point of... Wait, is that what Dracovish usually has? Do you usually have strong draw? He does. Okay. So then what's Dracovish's passive? Dracovish's passive is Hustle. Oh my god, dude. Okay, so this thing finally has strong jaw now. I think that would significantly improve him for Vicious Rend. And then this thing getting Hustle. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. So I would say it's situational, to be honest. I think Dracovish is already really good. Duraludon has a Mega Launcher. You gotta take our Duraludon. I mean, its Dragon Pulse gets buffed, right? So I think that in itself is pretty significant, considering the fact it has a Gmax form. And yeah, I'll say it's... I mean, I think actually in PokeRogue, our Duraludon is like really OP, so I'm gonna put it in very OP. Just making it any stronger is ridiculous. Dreepy gets Parental Bond. I mean, that's always useful. Honestly, I would consider it OP actually on a Dragapult. Zacian gets Guard Dog. Okay, they both get Guard Dog. Guard Dog's an interesting one. Guard Dog means that boosts attack if intimidated, prevents from being forced out on a switch. Honestly, very situational, but I'm glad that they didn't get anything better. Eternatus gets Supreme Overlord. Okay. Definitely didn't need that. That is definitely OP. Kubfu gets Iron Fist, which, I mean, it's just free extra damage on an already insane Pokemon that already has Gmax forms. I'm gonna say that's OP. Zarude gets Prankster. I don't really know too many moves that you can abuse. Let's have a look. I don't know. Zarude is probably the Pokemon I know the least about, to be honest. Synthesis, Jungle Healing, Prankster Jungle Healing, Prankster Synthesis. You know, honestly, fair. You could get Prankster Taunt as well. Nasty Plot. Yeah, you got some decent moves. I think it's always useful. I don't think it would make it OP necessarily, but it'd be always useful to have around. Regieleki gets Levitate and Regidrago gets Intimidate. I think Intimidate on him is always useful. Regieleki with Levitate is kind of bonkers because it has no weaknesses now. Honestly, I would say that is a little OP. Glastrier gets Filter, which just makes its defenses a little bit better, which is always nice. Spectrier gets Perish Body, which is definitely a situational ability, I would say. I mean, I don't know how much... I don't know Pokemon that like has an ability where you want to boost your stats. I would actually say it's not worth the investment, because like Spectrier's whole thing is that it comes in and it basically has special Moxie. And if you're encouraging yourself to switch out because of Perish Body, I mean, you know, he can probably finish the whole battle within 3 turns, but I don't know, man. I don't think Perish Body's it. I don't think Perish Body's worth it. I think that's more of a negative than a positive on him. Calyrex has Harvest in a game where berries are kind of insane. I mean, especially because of the Calyrex forms, I'm going to say that that's OP. Harvesting your berries back is OP. And we have Enamorus, lastly, Misty Surge. I think any Pokemon that can set up those terrains is very good. The thing that sucks is, though, I don't think it's affected by Misty Terrain because it's a flying type. I mean, it's nice that it has it, I would say. I'm deering if it's just... I think it might just be always nice to have. I don't know if it's OP, to be honest. And now we have the final generation of Pokemon, Generation 9. Sprigatito has Magician, which we've already discussed. Magician is very good in this game. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Magician on this is always nice. I don't know if it's OP because Sprigatito can't really take hits that well, but I think the Magician is nice. Fuecoco has Earth Eater, which is just ridiculous because that just gets rid of one of his weaknesses. I'm gonna say Earth Eater and Fuecoco is OP because Skeledirge is already one of the best Pokemon in the game. Quaxley gets Dancer, which, I mean, is situational. Lechonk gets Simple. I definitely think that has potential, but I mean, I think the Pokemon still sucks ultimately at the end of the day. I don't think anything that this thing gets can make it good. I'm gonna just put it that it still sucks. Tarantula gets Pickup. Yeah, he still sucks, unfortunately. Nimble, my boy, gets Technician. I absolutely adore this. I want this ASAP. I'm saving for a Technician Nimble myself. I would say, honestly, that it makes it... because I typically, on Nimble, I run Lunge, First Impressions, Sucker Punch. I guess Power Up Punch, Technician Power Up Punch is nice. I don't know if I necessarily call it OP. I think Nimble itself is pretty OP, but maybe Nimble's like teetering between OP and useful. It's probably more useful than OP. Palmy scares me in this game. This Pokemon always messes me up, and they want to give it fluffy, so it just takes hits better. I would say that that is always useful. I don't know if it makes it OP. Maybe it does. Tandemaus gets Parental Bond. This is such a weird Pokemon. Parental Bond, I'm gonna say that it's OP. Because I feel like Tandemaus is a very good Pokemon, and plus Population Bomb, Parental Bond. Bidoe gets Water Absorb. So it's got Water Absorb and also the Fire one. So it gets 2 immunities. I mean, I would say that's always useful. Maybe significantly improving because Dox one isn't that good. Maybe, yeah, significantly improved. Smoliv. I love Smoliv. I don't know if you can see there's a small live plush behind me there. Small live gets Ripen. Ripen doubles the effects of berries. In a game where berries are really good, I would say that it would significantly improve Small live, because I think Arboliva is a little too slow and its types are a little too many weaknesses. I think it would improve it. Squawkabilly gets Gale Wings. Gale Wings is pretty decent. I would say that it would significantly improve Squawkabilly. Knackley gets Earth Eater. Oh my god, this Pokemon, by the way, is like one of the best Pokemon to beat Eternatus with. So if you want to beat Eternatus easily, get Knackley. OP ass Mon. Earth Eater, just getting rid of one of his weaknesses. Insane Pokemon. Charcadet gets Mirror Armor. Ooh, can't have his stats dropped and it reflects it back to you. I'm gonna say that's always useful to have. I don't know if it's OP. I think it's always useful though. I have to Google Bellybolt's pre-evolution because I forgot. Tadbulb gets Transistor. I think that's really good. I'm not gonna say it's OP, but I think that would significantly improve Bellybolt. Waltroll has Gale Wings, which again, I mean, I think it's always useful to have. Priority moves are really good. Maschiff has Strong Jaw. I think that's really good considering he's got like Jaw Lock and things like that. Crunch obviously as well. I think it significantly improves him though. I don't know if it makes him like peak performance Pokemon. Strudel with Corrosion. I think it's a little situational. Could be useful though. Bramblin with Wandering Spirit. I need to remind myself on what Wandering Spirit does. Swaps abilities of the opponents on contact. Ooh, that's definitely situational. Could be fun though. Toadstool gets Prankster. It cancels out its awful ability. Prankster Spore. That is OP. Cloth gets Water Absorb, which just straight up gets rid of one of his weaknesses. I think that is always good to have. Caspakid gets Parental Bond. I think that would significantly improve him. I don't think he's very good though otherwise. Rellor gets Magic Guard, which again is another one of those situational abilities. Little has Competitive. If it gets its stats dropped, they go higher. I think that is always useful. Potential to be broken. Speaking of broken, Tinkatink has huge power, which basically just makes it a better Mega Mawile because just off rip, it's got huge power. It's got Gigaton Hammer. I don't actually, is it better than Mega Mawile? I'm not sure. Maybe not better, but it's like a very nice budget one, if at the very least. It could be better. Let me compare Mega Mawile's base stat total versus Tinkatink's, or Tinkaton's rather. Tinkaton has lower base attack, but Tinkaton is much faster. Tinkaton's special bulk's a little bit better. Overall, Tinkaton has a higher base stat total than Mawile, Mega Mawile included. But a lot of that is wasted on special attack. I think Mega Mawile is still probably, maybe not, because Tinkaton gets Pickpocket, which is very good in this game actually. It's honestly, flip a coin. Wiggler gets Storm Drain, which is definitely situational. Bombardier gets Unaware, which is actually pretty good. I think that would significantly improve Bombardier. Finzian gets Liquid Voice. Okay, that is, honestly, I wouldn't invest in that because, I mean, Stab Boom Burst is nice, but like, I mean, you know what? It's actually, it's not bad. It's situational. My cat is meowing. Speed Boost Varoom. Varoom is also already really good. So I would say Speed Boost would make it always good. Cyclozar gets Protein. I mean, I think that's a big improvement because it is kind of weak. So anything that makes it a little bit stronger is good. Orthworm gets Heat Proof. That is pretty big because it gets rid of fire as a big weakness on him. I would say that is very good. Glimmy gets Symbiosis. I feel like that's not worth the investment, or it's just like it's situational. I don't know how Symbiosis is going to work in this game though. Greavard with Fur Coat. Oh my god, gives another defense modifier on top of Fluffy. Houndstone needs help. Houndstone definitely does not need help, but to each their own. That is, might low-key be OP. I mean, I guess if it's running Fluffy, then it doesn't have Sand Rush, then it's not going to be as much of a sweeper. Fur Coat, that's insane. Yeah, it's really good. Flamigo gets Moxie. Okay, that is, I'm so tempted to say that that's OP, but I'm just going to put it in always good for now. Citadel gets Gluttony, which we've already discussed. Gluttony is pretty good in this game. I would say it significantly improves because I don't think Cititan's very good. I'm reading the description, the notes for the reason why they gave these Pokemon abilities now, because I asked Sam for the link. Citadel, big fat monster, probably eats a lot. That's really funny. I wish I was reading this sooner. Veluza gets Simple, and it gets Fillet Away. So it's just getting extra buffs on its Fillet Away. I think that's going to significantly improve Veluza. Veluza stocks goes up. Dondozo gets Gluttony, which makes sense. Honestly, it might be a little OP because Dondozo is a very good Pokemon. I'm going to say it's OP. Tatsugiri gets Water Bubble. Water Bubble is an insane ability. I feel like it definitely might make it OP, but it is pretty frail. I'm gonna put it in always useful for now. Great Tusk gets Intimidate, which, I mean, as if Great Tusk needed to be any better. I'm not sure if I would necessarily say that it's OP. Scream Tail gets Pixelate, which, I mean, gets Boom Burst and stuff like that, so that definitely helps. I would say it's always useful though, because I don't think Scream Tail is necessarily OP. Brute Bonnet gets Beast Boost, which, I mean, Brute Bonnet, its typing isn't the best. I mean, I think Beast Boost is just always an insane ability to have, especially on a Pokemon that has priority Sucker Punch and its Stab. Flutter Mane gets Dazzling, which means priority moves don't hurt it. And I would say that that makes it a little OP. I think part of what makes Flutter Mane able to be countered is the fact that its physical defense is really bad and you can just smack it with a priority move like Bullet Punch or Sucker Punch and it will probably drop. So the fact that you can't do that anymore is kind of broken. Slitherwing with Moxie, I would say that I mean, its typing isn't the best. I would say it makes it OP though. I mean, if Buzzwole's OP, then he's probably OP too. Sandy Shock gets Earth Eater. I mean, that's sort of one of his few weaknesses. I'll say it's always useful for now, but I mean, honestly, it might just be OP. I'll say it's always useful. Iron Treads gets Bulletproof, which means you can't hit it with like sphere moves, so like Aura Sphere and stuff like that. I think that's honestly a situational ability. Iron Bundle gets Snow Warning, so Blizzard just always hits. I'm gonna say that's OP. I think that is definitely OP. You're overpowered, buddy. Iron Hands gets Iron Fist. I mean, I think anything that just makes his punching moves stronger is OP. Jugelis gets No Guard, which means it can land just hurricanes and stuff like that. You know, I'm gonna put Jugelis in OP as well. At least the ability is. Iron Moth gets Levitate, which means 4 times weakness to ground is no longer, unless you're a Mold Breaker Mon. I'm gonna say that is pretty overpowered. You definitely want that if you're an Iron Moth enjoyer. And then this guy gets Sandstream, which is huge for him. I don't know if it naturally makes him overpowered. It definitely helps him out though in the taking hits department, at least on the special side. And he is also a Sand Setter now, so I might say that I don't think the Mon is OP, the ability is OP. This is what we're ranking here. We're ranking the ability on the Mon, and I think that is definitely an ability you would want to use on Iron Thorns. I think it's there's no drawback to it. Frigibax gets Thick Fat, which is it's neutral to fire, so now gives it some bulk. I think that would help. It's always useful. Gimme Goal gets Super Luck, which I think is situational personally, but hey. Mochien has Triage. Oh my god. Priority healing moves. I mean, I'm gonna say that's OP. I'm gonna just say that's OP. In conjunction with his normal ability, that's OP. Qianpao with the Refrigerate. Stab, Giga Impact is the reasoning. I'm gonna say it's just always useful. I don't think Refrigerate's and then Tinglu with Stamina, dude. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that is overpowered. Stamina Tinglu is unnecessary. That is disgusting. And then Chi-Yu gets Blaze, which honestly, actually pretty good. I would say that it's always useful. Roaring Moon gets Aerialate because it wants to be Mega Salamence so bad. I honestly, I think that does make it a little OP. Iron Valiant gets Download, the ultimate mixed attacker. Yeah, that's OP. That's just overpowered. For free. Honestly, these are probably this way because they want you to face this in the little boss battles. Okay, almost to the end. Miraidon gets Photosynthesis and Miraidon gets Quark Drive. So they basically just get extra buffs to their stats when their normal abilities like that. Yeah, no, those are OP. I don't even have to talk about that. That's just overpowered. That is just straight up overpowered. The both of yous overpowered. Walking Weight gets Beast Boost. I would say that is overpowered. Anything that can just boost stats like that, I think is a bit OP. Iron Leaves gets Sharpness. It boosts Psyblade. I'm gonna say that's always useful. It could be OP, but I'm gonna just say it's always useful for now. Poltergeist gets Flame Body, which makes sense. I would say that's just useful. Always useful. Okidogi has Intimidate, which is very fitting, and honestly, yeah, always useful. Monkey Dory gets Prankster, which I think works really well with just him setting up and stuff. I would say that's always useful. Pheasantipity gets Dazzling, which means it can't be hit with priority moves and stuff like that, Bullet Punch and stuff. I think that's always useful. Ogerpon gets Unnerve, which is honestly just bonkers because of how bonkers Ogerpon is naturally, and also because of how berries are in this game. So just definitely OP for Ogerpon. Gouging, Fire, Raging Bolt both have Beast Boost. Yeah, okay, yeah, all these guys have Beast Boost, okay. I would go on a whim and say that makes them OP, to be honest. And then the other ones both have Sharpness, which Mighty Cleave and Tachyon Cutter, all their signature moves are pretty much boosted. I mean, with this guy, it might make him OP. I've heard some pretty good things about Iron Boulder, like Mighty Cleave being boosted. I could be wrong. Those guys could teeter between OP and just useful. But I'll put this guy in just useful as well. Terapagos gets protein. It has the power of every type. It just, I mean, thematically it makes sense. I think that would make Terapagos OP, to be honest, as if it isn't already. And then the last Pokemon, Petrorunt, has corrosion, which means that it can poison everything, which I think is very fitting. I don't know if it's necessarily OP, because I don't think Petrorunt's necessarily OP. I guess everything being poisoned and also confused, it's just more annoying. It's definitely, you can definitely play around it though. I'll put it here. And with that, that is my tier list of all the Pokemon passive abilities. So just when I was about done with this video, they changed a fair amount of Pokemon as passive abilities. Like I said at the start, they are actively constantly changing these. But these ones, I was shared the spreadsheet that they use to document them. And the ones I'm going to tell you are the ones that they are locked in on. They labeled these ones green, which means like, yeah, these are ones we're happy with. So first of all, Enamorus changed. Enamorus used to have Misty Surge, which is a good ability, but Enamorus wasn't like helped by it at all. It now has Prankster. Now the nightmare is trying to figure out where my Enamorus is so I can rank it differently. Here we are. Prankster, I think, would bump it up a tier, to be honest. Yamper changed. It used to have Speed Boost, and now it has Stakeout, I believe. Yeah, Stakeout, less generic, and it fits its ability better. I guess it fits Strong Jaw better or whatever. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I think Speed Boost is really good. I don't know if Stakeout really makes it better, or I think it would improve the Pokemon. I don't think it would make it go up a tier though. Sobble, they actually saved. They got rid of I think it was Super Luck, and they oh no, they changed it from Mimicry to Super Luck. So it's still a situational Pokemon, but it's definitely better in my opinion. Sandygast, they changed it from Dauntless Shield to Sandstream, which honestly I think is a little bit of a downgrade, because it's like less of like a machine on its own. It's more situational, but it can definitely still be a monster. But we're going to bump it down to situational. Goomy actually got a big buff. It went from having Poison Heal to having Drizzle. Drizzle is very, very good. It's less situational. It can run Thunder. It learns a lot of water moves. Drizzle just works really well on Goomy, which would definitely bump it up 2 tiers in my opinion. I believe Goomy's in this tier. Here we are. Bump it up 2 tiers. Tyrunt changed from Sheer Force to Reckless. I guess they thought that maybe the secondary effect of his moves being gone was too much of a downside, so they wanted to do Reckless. Fair enough. I don't think I would really change him much for that. Skrelp is interesting. I don't know why I'm searching Skrelp in here. Skrelp is interesting. Skrelp went from having Corrosion to Dragon's Maw. I made the point that Skrelp might be able to poison Eternatus. Honestly, I don't know if I'd say Prankster Enamorus is OP. Maybe I'd put it down to just very useful. But Skrelp used to have Corrosion, but now it's got Dragon's Maw. Its main thing isn't poisoning people, which, yeah, fair enough. Dragon's Maw is a pretty good buff. It's always useful to have. Skrelp used to be an always useful. I mean, I think it is always useful that it's got Dragon's Maw, but I don't know if I actually agree with my Corrosion placement. I mean, I think I just got caught up in the idea of it poisoning Eternatus. Skiddo changed from having Fur Coat to Grassy Surge, which is honestly just as good. I would say I'd probably just leave it in the same place. It also has synergy with I think Grass Pelt is its ability or something. Froakie got a huge buff. It went from having Merciless to having Adaptability. So I would definitely put Froakie like up here now. Maybe even like low-key a little bit OP, considering its protein. I think actually Froakie's OP now. Fennekin actually got a significant buff. Fennekin went from having Magic Guard to having Magic Bounce. Magic Bounce is definitely much better. So I went from being situational to actually being pretty damn good in my opinion. So I'll put Magic Guard up here. Always good. Swirlix now has Well-Baked Body instead of Pixelate. Pixelate did work actually pretty well. Well-Baked Body is very fitting though, but I think Pixelate might have been a little bit better just because Swirlix likes to run like Return. So I might put it down a tier because of that change. Dewpider, I will leave in the same tier. It changed from Strong Jaw. They claimed it doesn't have enough biting moves. I don't agree with that. I think like Crunch and Bug Bite is fine. They gave it Unnerve though, which I mean, Unnerve is very good in this game because spiders are unnerving. I think it would probably just remain in the same tier. Axew went from having Sheer Force to Dragon's Maw as well. Sheer Force has too many downsides. Honestly, I think they're both in the same tier of powerfulness. So I think yeah, that can stay the same. Gible has Sandstream, which I mean, I don't know if that's what was originally in the video. It might have been. And Gible's not in S tier, so I don't know. Hold on, what did PokeRogue say Gible had before? Oh yeah, it does say it has Sandstream. Where is Gible then? Am I just stupid? Why is Gible not an overpowered? It must have had like Sand Rush or something. Okay. Yeah, well, with Sandstream, it's overpowered. Rotom has Hadron Engine now instead of Electric Surge. It fitted Rotom, but it didn't do anything because of Levitate, so we upgraded it. So yeah, the Rotom just has a better ability now. Electric now has Electric Surge instead of Speed Boost. I think that actually fits it better. I think that is actually better. I would probably I don't know where Electric is. Let me try and find it here. I think it might just stay in the same tier, honestly. Electric Surge is very good on it though, so maybe it would go up. Wingull has Storm Drain now instead of Hydration. I'd probably just leave it in the same tier. Seedot has Early Bird now instead of Disguise. That's definitely a downgrade. Definitely a downgrade. Oh, they changed the beasts from Flare Blue's Toxic Boost, Speed Boost to Transistor, Moxie, and Unaware. So these guys, honestly, I think that would honestly make them all S tier. So they can join Suicune up here in S tier. Moxie, Entei, Transistor, Raikou, and Unaware Suicune. Unaware Suicune is vile. Smeargle with Quick Draw. Change from Trace is a bit stronger and even more fitting since he draws. Haha, that's actually really funny. Yeah, I think that's actually fine. Probably just leave it in the same spot though. It just sucks. Cleffa has Misty Surge now instead of Triage. Misty Surge fits better. I mean, Cleffa is definitely not OP anymore. Definitely bump this down a tier. Totodile has Tough Claws now. Man, I was honestly fine with Strong Jaw, but Tough Claws. Ripen on Chikorita instead of Triage. I think I like Triage better. I'm not gonna lie. I think that is a downgrade on Chikorita, to be honest, which sucks because I feel like Chikorita. I mean, it's good because of berries, but I would say it's a downgrade. Totodile, I think, is fine. I think he's still very good. And yeah, those are the changes that I know that they've made so far. Back to ending this video. It goes without saying, this took me a lot longer to make than I anticipated. Did not expect this video to be this long. I thought, oh, because we're not actually ranking all 1,000 directly, I thought wrong. Obviously, I thought wrong. But yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you very, very much. I'm gonna, on screen, put a picture of the tier list. I'll probably have a link to an image of this tier list as well if you want to properly look at it and analyze it. Please, if you think I made a mistake, let me know in the comments. I would totally be down to be corrected. And yeah, just let me know what you think about passive abilities. I'm really excited about them, which is why I decided, hey, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to talk about them at length, and I want to know what all the passive abilities are. And honestly, I think a lot of them are a little generic. Like, there's a lot of reckless birds, but some of them are really creative, and they're constantly changing. By the way, I mentioned it at the start, but these abilities are constantly being updated. So I think this video could genuinely be out of date the minute it gets released. But I hope it maybe served as a good resource. Maybe you learned a thing or two about what some abilities do that you maybe didn't know beforehand, and maybe this will help you decide on which Pokemon you should be investing your time into. I mean, ultimately, I don't think having an extra ability for the most part is a bad thing. I think the only time I would say it's a bad thing necessarily is with Perish Bodymons. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm really appreciate the support on PokeRogue content. More PokeRogue content coming soon. Stay tuned.